cards on the
frame?
here,
yeah.
And then what?
We're live?
We're at 30, 60, 10. 30, 60, 10.
Oh, yeah, never mind.
10 annies, 10 annies, 10 annies. Yeah.
And
Okay.
5,000, right? 10.
10.
10.
Oh, it's true.
And we're 30, 60.
60K,
All
bro.
right, game on. We're
You
going.
gotta put your cards on the
Yeah, I
frame.
did.
You got everybody's?
All right, what do I have? Let's test.
Aren't you always making
Yes, what do you got, Bob? What's he got?
Go ahead.
You can tell us all?
4 folds.
10-4, good buddy. All in.
5's all in. 6 folds, 7 folds, 8 folds, 9 folds.
And would have folded if he was here.
2 folds. And 3 folds.
Well, gentlemen, we have cards. This is exciting.
We do indeed. The MSPT 117th main event. I think this is the 15th ever held at Canterbury Park in, is it Shakopee?
Shakopee.
Shakopee,
Yes,
Minnesota. The place where it all began in 2009. First ever MSPT stop.
I always thought it was Shakopee.
Player at this table wants.
Brian Molesky, Disco Chad Holloway, and Keith Heine, 2017 runner-up player of the year.
That is
Keith
true.
Heine.
That is
Yeah, it's not as cool as Champ, but
I'm the first loser.
happy to have you in the booth. And finally, we got this going, our first broadcast of 2018.
7 folds, 8 folds.
And as we mentioned, Canterbury Park here in Shakopee, Minnesota. And this is pretty much the home of the MSPT. And
9 raises to 130.
as Chad mentioned, we've been here 15 times. The first ever MSPT event was at Canterbury Park in December of 2009. And many years later, still going strong. And we started with 10 players at this final table. Obviously, as you know, we had some technical difficulties. We are now down to 8. Chad, do you want to mention who we lost 10th place and 9th place?
Yep, and at 10th place with his first ever MSPT cash was Umut Ozturk. I hope I pronounced that correctly. I know he was very excited to make the final table, but ended up being the first to go for $7,122. And then busting in 9th place was actually day 1A chip leader Gerald Kniff from St. Paul, Minnesota. It was actually his second final table in 4 months. He final tabled the Denver Poker Open in Golden Gates Casino back in November. I think he finished in 4th place there.
That is correct, yeah. So Umut Ozturk out of St. Paul, he's an attorney. As you mentioned, Chad, his first MSPT cash. And Ozturk hasn't played a lot of MSPT. We don't have a call yet, so we don't have to get excited.
I'm just letting you guys know. Sorry.
Ozturk hasn't played a ton of MSPT events, but he's really been playing a lot of events here locally, primarily at Canterbury Park in the Minneapolis area. And the last year, he's had a lot of success. I think he was in the top. This is just off the top of my head. I don't have it in front of me, but I'm pretty positive he was in the top 5 for the MN Poker Mag, which is the Minnesota Player of the Year. So he's had a lot of success here locally and has just started to branch out and travel a little bit more. But yeah, he's out in 10th place. And of course, you mentioned Jerry Kniff, 3rd MSPT cash, 2nd final table. And of course, he had a 4th place and now a 9th place. So congrats to those two for great runs. And we are down to 8. And we've got some very experienced MSPT players at this final table. And we've got some first-time cashers as well, which is pretty rare at Canterbury Park because of how many events that we've had here. But
Well, it looks like we're going to get some action here.
Sherry Hammers in the 2 seat with pocket aces. It's always nice to look down at aces, and it's going to be Collins who's going to open under the gun with ace-3 of clubs, raises to 175K. Hammers in the hijack. Got to be exciting to look down at aces, and let's see how she decides to play this.
How she plays this is going to have a big bearing on how the hand plays out, because you see in the big blind there with one of the shorter stacks, During has a king-jack of hearts, and now he's going to be able to get rid of it pretty easy. Hammers shoving all in.
Yeah, with the 850K stack, she's going to shove all in. I don't think she's going to get a call here. Colin's sitting on 2.5 million. He's going to pretend like he's going to make the call, but I don't think that he will in this position.
I think what she was thinking is, you know, there's already enough out there. I don't want to get cute here, and just in case Collins did have something maybe better than ace three, she's going to get a call. But I'd be shocked if he calls this.
I can't blame her for shoving. I think she was the third shortest stack that you've seen on the chip counts not long ago. There's a pretty big difference between the top two big stacks and everyone else at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can see there the blinds are 30-60, so Sherry started this hand with, what, about 14 bigs? So facing a raise in front of her, this is certainly a good spot to jam the aces. And she's hoping for a call, but doesn't get it, but she's going to pick up, she's going to scoop a nice little pot. And
she just increased
you
her
can
stack.
hear her gallery with the horn in the background. There you see the prizes on the left. Everybody here at this final table in the final 8 is guaranteed just shy of 12,000, and of course 102,000 up top. We had 491 runners to begin, and despite the snowstorm, gentlemen,
that's impressive.
one of the largest events here at Canterbury Park in history. I think the second largest. We had the largest with 493. We certainly would have crushed that had we not gotten a few inches of snow Saturday afternoon, right as the main event was starting.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, a great tournament, and of course, as always, Canterbury Park does a fantastic job. They have some of the best dealers in the Midwest. Everything goes extremely smooth, and we're going to watch a fun final table. You'll notice there's a fair amount of short stacks here. It took us a long time to get to this final table. So I think when we finally got here, because the players just weren't busting that quickly, we were at around a 23 big blind average, which is relatively low. And it's going to take us a little time, I think. Nobody had really pulled away all afternoon with a massive stack, which, you know.
Now, obviously, you know, 12 to 16 bigs out in the main field, you know, during day 2 doesn't have nearly the value as what 16 bigs at a final table has. It's almost doubled the value if you think of it that way.
That's true, yeah.
Workman on the button here looks down at an ace. He's short. That's a good spot to shove, but little does he know he's got a kicker problem here, and Collins does call.
Good chance for a chop here, but we'll see what happens.
Workman looking to pair the 6 to try to win this thing and double up, or some big cards to chop it. That's good news for Workman. Those are 3 overcards to their kickers, meaning one more card higher than there it is. Oh, actually, no, that gives Collins the straight.
Yeah, that's not the overcard he
he's
wanted.
still looking for a chop. He needs a queen or a 7.
And it does not come. So we're going to lose Charles Workman out of Savage, Minnesota in 8th place. He's going to take home $11,869 as well as 800 Player of the Year points. So Charles Workman, the business owner, like I said, out of Savage, first MSPT cash, and he's got some great kids. I know he likes to spend a lot of time with his kids, travel, and enjoy the moment. So congrats to Workman on a great tournament.
I'd say it's a pretty nice little weekend gig he had. He's, what did he get? $11,000 for having fun too.
That's right. So down to 7.
Who else we got? You got a rundown for us on the...
Yeah, so we talked a little bit, and we'll talk more about Sherry Hammers. A very popular player here at Canterbury Park. Her and her husband, Tom, very well known in this area.
Tom has been in the commentator's booth a time or two
Many
in the
times
past.
with us, yep, that is correct. And in the 3 seat, Gary Ewald out of West Fargo, North Dakota. This is his 3rd MSPT cash. His first final table. He also has a regional final table, and
wow,
we're going to get some action
cut you off there, Brian.
Yeah, we're going to get some action here too. Van Sickle with kings, Dorian with ace king, and
then we have
Dorian's going to be at risk
with 7s as well.
Yeah, so the 7s are actually going to open here, and I think you'll see Van Sickle shove here. Dorian will call it off, and that will give Gary Ewald a chance to get away from the 7s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Considering the stacks here, I don't see Van Sickle or Dorian folding. it would be a huge fold by Dorian if he can get away from
It's
this.
most likely going to go all in, call,
Yeah.
fold.
I think at this point, when you're the short stack, during it's just such a premium hand to waste.
Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously the blinds will probably step to the side on this particular case.
So we can't see Dorian right now because he's behind all of the cards. But he's in the, is that a gray hat, green sweatshirt, I think? Pine green?
Wow, he does
That's
get
a huge fold.
Yeah,
Wow.
that is.
That might just save his tournament life. And now that puts Ewald in a tough spot, but because he doesn't have a huge stack either. He's got under 10 bigs now behind. And he's sitting on sevens.
And I know he's probably thinking this could be a coin flip. Ace, king, ace, queen. My sevens are good at this point. That ace, king fold, that, like you said, that could be a tournament saving fold.
That's a huge fold. I don't think I have that fold in me, but congrats to Dorian for getting away from that.
See if Ewald can get rid of the sevens here.
He is going to call, and he's going to be way behind.
Yeah, he was hoping for a coin flip situation or maybe a smaller pocket pair, but
It's a tough spot when you get short, though. You got to make some of these decisions. And,
he's going to need a 7 from heaven here.
and let's see if the ace comes at all, which would give Dorian a huge pot. But
Right, and that's exactly what he's thinking right now.
Nothing on the flop, nothing on the turn. That actually
Yeah.
hurts. That takes away
Right.
the 7 diamond is still live. It would have given him a full house.
Yes.
yeah, it's good.
But he's got 2 outs.
He doesn't
Ooh, it's
get
close. Yeah, 1 pip off. So Van Sickle actually makes a diamond flush there. Same difference, but they're going to count the stacks here and see exactly who had the bigger of the two.
Yeah, these stack sizes you see on the screen are unofficial, so we got to count them out.
I think it was.
Yeah, During right now,
I don't know if you guys just heard that. He was saying he possibly folded the ace of diamonds. It was not an ace of diamonds when he had that ace king. It was 2 black cards, I know that.
855.
see, this is one of those, just one of those tournament situations where if just a little tweak, if During would have went all in there, Ewald would have folded his 7s and he'd still be in this thing. But
Right.
you know, instead of that solid laydown by During, ends up spelling the demise for Ewald there.
That's right. So congratulations to Gary Ewald out of West Fargo, North Dakota. He's going to take home
15,000.
Move your fingers, gentlemen. $15,193. You guys should have seen it. I got Chad with the pen over the number and Heine with his finger on like.
I had accidentally crossed out the 7th place, so I wanted to make sure you didn't read the 6th place there.
So just like that, action-packed, we're down to 6. We haven't even had a chance to talk with our technical difficulties. We haven't even gotten to talk about some of these. We've got 2 MSPT All-Stars pretty much at this final table that we haven't even talked about yet.
Ace of diamonds or no? I don't remember.
Every time I say a name, they get a massive hand, so
Right.
I'm gonna take this hand off, and then, all right, cool, I think we can get through here. Sherry's gonna fold the ace-9. All right, so we talked a little bit about Sherry.
6 folds.
Bob Van Sickle, who's a property manager and a tax expert. This is his 3rd MSPT cash, his 2nd final table. His previous finish was a 7th place. He's also a boxing trainer / manager. So don't mess with Bob.
Says he's a
If fight-
tax expert.
If a fight breaks out, I like Bob's chances at this final table.
8 bets. 80,000.
Bob has a lot of success here locally too. I know he cashes quite often in some of the higher buy-in weekly tournaments that they host in the area. We mentioned Joel Dorian a little bit in the 6th seat out of Brooklyn Park, Minnesota, the photojournalist for Channel 5. Got in through a satellite, so
Wow,
he
that's
got in cheap. This is his first MSPT day 2. Likes to spend some time with his wife and his 1-year-old Max. That's a sweet name, by the way.
I think
And
Max
this
is up right now.
I don't know.
Probably not.
1-year-old, yeah.
I mean,
It's
you've
10
had
o'clock
many
local
1-year-olds
time.
over
I've
your
had a few
time.
of those 1-year-olds. They don't sleep though, so
This is Joel's first MSPT cash. You can follow him on Twitter at Bluff Whisper.
For
I'm
those
not
who
creative enough to come up with a cool name like that.
For those who don't know, Keith is a family man, right? You've
I
got
am a
bunch
family
of boys,
man.
a whole.
Yeah. I have a basketball team on the way because we have 4 boys and we're expecting our 5th in August. So
Congratulations.
yeah.
That's what happens when you win a lot. You get home and it's,
well, yeah.
oh, congrats, honey.
It is about 9 months between his
There's
wins.
a little shopping and
Yeah.
another kid. Weird.
We got an all in here. Yeah, it's gonna get through.
In the 7th seat out of Morrow, Illinois, Mark Collins, he's a system administrator. This is already his largest career score, and this is his 2nd MSPT cash. Now the last 2 that we haven't gotten to yet, like I said, they're kind of MSPT all-stars. So John Redding out of Woodbury, Minnesota. Chad, you probably have some of his career scores. He's got quite a few, including a $250,000 score. He's got a WSOP bracelet as well, correct?
It's true. In 2013, I believe it was, he won a turbo event, which was, if I recall, I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was a huge field.
Yeah.
It might have been a one-day thing, or they played 16 hours straight or something. But yeah, it was a big deal. I remember when it happened.
And that's John Redding there in the green hoodie. This is his 11th MSPT cash, his 4th MSPT final table. He already has a 5th, a 3rd, and an 8th, and of course, he's guaranteed at least a top 6 finish here, but he's looking for his first MSPT win. He is in the MSPT 6-figure club. He has earned over $100,000.
He is
on tour.
He is definitely playing for first and nothing else.
Yeah, he's won some. He's had some huge scores. By far, the largest scores at this final table. So he's well experienced playing for a big payday, and we know he's going to be in it till the end. John Redding. Also, one of the most established MSPT players of all time, Aaron Johnson out of Red Wing, Minnesota. And his largest score, of course, is a $97,000 cash for placing 72nd in the 2016 WSOP main event. That's pretty awesome. That's a huge cash. That's a deep run. But Aaron here on the MSPT, you'll see Aaron, he's over there in the 10 seat with the gray hat, gray hoodie on the right side of the dealer. He's got 19 MSPT main event cashes, and it looks like Dorian and Redding might butt heads. Hammers
We got
with
ace queen in there too.
But I'll finish up on Aaron Johnson here real quick. He's got 19 MSPT main event cashes, which is tied for 3rd all time, behind Ku Vang and Mark Hodge, also tied with, I think, Rich Elsa. But this is his 4th MSPT final table. He has an 8th, a 6th, and a 4th. And he also has 5 regional caches. So combined 24 caches on the MSPT. That's unbelievable. Yeah. Aaron Johnson, he knows this structure well, and he's made a large number of deep runs.
6 all in.
And for everybody that knows Aaron, he has a little bit of a dry sense of humor. So under fun facts or hobbies, he put, nah, I'm boring.
Looks like we have John opened, Sherry snap calls. Wow.
All right, so Sherry is it? And so Dorian has Sherry covered. Oh, no, she doesn't. Or no, he doesn't. I'm sorry.
For most of her chips here, she's going to need an ace here. Is her best bet to win it.
8-9 jack.
Well, she's got the 10.
Yeah, that's actually a decent flop for her.
5 outs still.
Got a 7.
Still the same 5 outs for Sherry here, which could potentially eliminate Dorian.
3 aces, 2 10s. That is not one of them.
That is not it. So Dorian is going to double up off hammers.
How good does that ace-king fold look now?
Right?
Yeah. He, 3-4 hands later, he gets it in even better. So it's obviously it's a tough spot for Sherry.
For sure. I mean, it comes off like it's a squeeze.
Right.
An open, a limp, and it would be a good spot to squeeze. Ace queen plays great against such a short stack squeeze range there, but unfortunately for her, During had the goods and she couldn't get an ace.
But I can tell you, she is not out of this. Nobody's out of it until you're off this final table. You can come
Sherry,
back quick.
yeah, Sherry just recently opened up a resale business with her daughter Jordan. Jordan's awesome, by the way. I've met her, so she has come down to Meskwaki a time or two, and big groups of us go out to eat at Rube's and that sort of thing. So she said check out poshmark.com, poshmark.com, Poshmark, and search Watson My Closet.
You know, I can tell you right now, if my wife's listening, that they're going to get a lot of business.
Yeah, she's gonna
That's
check
right
it
up
out.
her alley.
Absolutely. So poshmark.com, search Watson My Closet. I'm going to check that out later. But pretty cool. Good luck with that. That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
And what a cool thing to be able to do something with your daughter, right?
Oh
Like,
man, it's a dream.
I was going to say that would be something I would love to do too. Nothing more than finding some cool things that you can enjoy with your kids.
And she's going to be looking for a double here, obviously, but we'll see what happens. Maybe she will get some fortunate cards.
Well, I'm guessing it's
Yeah.
probably going to be right here in a race situation.
Yeah, this is going to play itself out.
The 6 or 8. Oh, cards in the 6. Could you place your cards? Sorry. 8 folds.
So Johnson with pocket tens is going to open it up for, looks like 130.
1 trio.
Right.
And their hammers jams it. You can't blame her.
No.
That's actually a great hand in this spot. So
4 folds. 6 folds.
so it's going to be Johnson versus
9
Hammers.
calls.
King Jack suited against the tens. She's going to be all right in this spot.
King Jack of spades.
But you can see a couple of her cards are dead. Johnson currently a 3-2 fave basically.
Wow. Oh my gosh, what a flop.
What a flop. She flops the nuts, but Johnson's not
He's
dead
not
yet.
dead.
He flopped a set. He can still boat up here. What a sweat we're going to have on the turn in the river.
And as even if he boats up on the turn there, Hammers has a royal flush draw, so she's never out of it. Well, here it's down to the river. Johnson has
Let's see
8
the royal.
outs.
And a 3 of spades.
That's a
Oh.
safe card.
And just like that, that's what.
And you hear the horn in the background, and that means Hammers has doubled up.
I need to get that
What
going
I mean,
myself.
that's a if you were going to say, hey, let's pick out the most fun flop we can, you would have probably picked something like that. Flop the flush. Yeah. Johnson hit the set, has boat outs and brick.
And just like that, she's back in it.
Yeah, she's keeping the hopes alive of becoming the second MSPT female champion.
Yeah.
There's only been one in 117 main events.
Yep, we've had one, and it was Angelina Rich at the Venetian.
Yeah, that was.
And so Sherry looking to become number 2.
That was a few years ago, right? What, 3 years ago?
And yeah, and at the same time,
so.
I feel bad for Aaron because as successful as he's been on this tour, of course, a few times in these spots you get unlucky, and he's still looking for his first MSPT win. And when he gets it, and he'll be very deserving because he's a strong player.
Yeah.
You can see how often he's in the mix here.
He rarely gets it in bad. That's the best thing you can say about a poker player.
Charlie Workman coming back to shake hands, wish some players good luck.
2 folds.
And now that we've busted a couple of players, you can see the stack starting to build back up a little bit again.
130, yes.
I think we're going to see
No shortage of hands here. Holy goodness. It's not supposed to be this easy to get hands.
I think we're going to see a 3-way to the flop here because Van Sickle's going to call, and I think,
John's going to definitely see a flop with his pocket
do
pair.
some set mining.
8 calls.
So let's see if we can get some action on this flop.
And you can see the statistics. They're virtually a 3-way tie for this going into the flop.
keep seeing him slide under, so yeah.
And Van Sickle outflops the threes and the ace-10. This this could get interesting if Johnson. Oh wow.
It's an interesting. Looks like going to be a lead out here by Redding. It's a curious one because with an open and a limp, that queen jack usually hits that range pretty hard.
That's in that range. This should definitely go
8 bets.
bet, fold, call
210.
would be my guess here. Johnson's.
Yeah, Johnson is going to release it or possibly shove it, but there's definitely no call in it.
I think you'll see a call here, not a raise.
4 calls.
And he does call in position. We're going to go to the turn, and that'll likely slow down Redding, but we'll see what happens here.
If he hits a 3 somehow, it's it's set up for him to win a monster.
I think that card right there will slow John down.
8 checks.
And it's going to go check.
4 checks.
And Bob does check behind as well.
And we'll see another check.
Yep, I think so.
8 checks, 4 checks.
And Van Sickle's going to win this one.
Yeah, Van Sickle's going to get this one.
Obviously, John's probably thinking he may have missed a bet, but there's no way he can do that. That's just a hand that just kind of played itself out. And with that, he just increased his stack 550,000. Nice little pot.
So those of you tuning in a little late, 491 runners down to 6. Everybody here guaranteed just shy of 20 grand. It's a healthy payday.
Yeah.
We've got Sherry Hammers, Bob Van Sickle, Joel Doring, Collins, Redding, and Johnson.
Well, Sherry's picked up ace queen again. Most likely will open with probably, I would say,
2 raises.
150.
150,000. 150.
Good call. And that's not how things work in this booth, Keith.
I'm sorry.
The way that Chad and I always do it is we fire out a guess and we're always way wrong.
Oh, okay.
So if you could just stay consistent with that, that'd be fantastic.
Alrighty.
You're making us look bad.
I would not be shocked if
yeah,
Johnson
really-
comes over the top here. He's going to see a flop.
I don't mind, you got some invested already. You
Yeah.
got a nice speculative hand.
Yep.
It's a good spot for a stop and go if you connect with any part of this flop.
Agreed. And
That's what
Obviously he
does.
did.
Look for him to, he can go one of two ways. He could just shove it or...
so
yeah.
he's
Oh,
gonna
wow.
see-
Yeah,
okay.
he
was-
that's a good check.
He was planning on getting it in, but...
He's not going to let it go past this, though.
yeah, now it's too many cards out there, too many straight possibilities, no sense for a free card.
No.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
2 checks.
Sherry gets a
she's
pull
wise
on
on it. Yeah.
Ace or a jack.
Well, that's a pretty good river.
Yeah, that's some overkill. Now can he get any value? He's got a pot-sized bet.
He just doesn't have enough.
Behind.
He doesn't have a large enough stack to make any type of bet.
Sherry
That
could
looks
easily
suspicious,
think
but-
that ace high is good here.
Yeah, it's not only ace high, it's ace queen. It's the nut no
Right.
pair.
Yeah,
If he tossed out 100,000 right here, she might be tempted. She'd be getting 5 to 1 on a call with nut no pair.
And that's what Aaron's thinking through right now is how can I get something out of this? And it looks like he might be doing just that.
It looks like 195,000 maybe.
195,000.
Okay.
Spot on.
195.
So about half the pot.
It's a tough spot for Sherry. I certainly wouldn't blame her if she called.
That's it's a third of her stack.
Yeah, I think if she had more chips, she'd probably
Yeah.
look them up. But
Yeah.
yeah, she makes a solid lay down there and preserves what she has. And she doesn't know it right now, but she saved a lot of chips there. You know, if she continuation bets and Aaron check shoves on her, she she loses that.
Yeah, yeah. If he goes all in pre, she's calling.
So we've got a couple of shorter stacks, Johnson and Hammers. Not, you know, as you mentioned, Keith, you can get away with playing a little bit shorter at the final table because it is a bigger chunk of everybody else's stack. So they're certainly not danger zone yet, but Sherry is getting close.
How much time do we have on this level right now?
I can.
We have,
let me see what I can do.
See what we can do.
Let me see what I can do. I got. It's been a couple months. I got to find all the buttons. Oh, there we go. Now I got it. You want to see it now?
I do.
Okay. 8
Okay.
minutes, 50 seconds left in the 30,000, 60,000 level. There you go.
Right. That's a big jump. Looks like we have Van Sickle opened under the gun with threes up to 160. And
160.
Man, Collins here in the cutoff with King Jack suited. He's got a monster chip stack right now. A lot of shorter stacks. This is definitely a spot where I like to mix it up.
I think what he might be thinking is that Van Sickle's got such a big stack as well. Maybe he doesn't want to get involved in a big pot with him. So I don't mind the call.
So Chad, maybe after this hand, we'll see how this plays out. But I don't know if you got a few names of players. I can think of one. I think Ku Vang, busted 14th, if I recall correctly, somewhere in there.
Yeah, I'll give you a rundown here after we see what Van Sickle does with his
Sorry
set
about
here.
the sound effects. That's my sound effect when somebody flops a set.
Oh,
So
You do the same thing when you're playing and you flop a
I
set.
try not to do it out loud though. So I don't really know if Van Sickle's going to get any action here. I would be shocked.
Oh,
He looks like he might be floating. Possibly.
Yeah, little does he
I don't know.
know.
He might have had second thoughts. Yeah. Yeah, he's
going to fold.
Yeah, Van Sickle for a moment there was like, yes, please. All right, a quick little rundown of some of the players that cashed this tournament. 54 spots were paid a minimum of $2,136. And among some of those are a guy who's really popular here, Loki Abood, finished in 49th. And we had Minnesota Poker Hall of Famer Mike Schneider in 44th place for a little over $2,300. John Morgan, who splits his time bouncing back and forth from the Twin Cities to Vegas, he cashed 40th place for $2,300. Paul Cross, actually a little connection here. Paul won the largest ever poker tournament in Minnesota State
I
history.
heard he crushed that guy heads up. Crushed him.
And Keith here was the runner-up. Yeah, that was last August, I want to say. It was by attendance, the largest ever attended. And
yeah, it was like 1,300 entrants or something like that. Yeah.
Paul Cross finished 35th in this event, and 33rd was Dan DQ Hendrickson. He's a former champ of the MSPT Canterbury Park. We had Chris Myers, the reigning MSPT Kimosabe Mezcal Player of the Year. He's already said he wants to go back-to-back, and he got a cash here finishing in 29th
So how many people on
place.
this list has Keith finished second place?
Oh, yeah. Let's forget that. Who did Chris beat out for that Player of the Year? This
is a great list. Let's keep going.
Craig Trost, a MSPT Potawatomi regional champ, which at the time was the largest ever tournament held in Wisconsin.
That's a huge event,
he finished in 23rd place. And then we had Ku Vang, who you mentioned, MSPT champ and just a well-known player in the Minnesota area, in the Midwest. He finished in 14th for $5,600. A good friend of ours who plays the tour since, I think, season 4, Brian Zupanich.
Yeah.
He had his best ever finish. He finished in 13th place for almost $5,700.
Yeah, I was rooting for Brian. Yep.
Little side note, I started day 1A with him, and we jokingly said, let's just both make top 15.
Yep.
He was the only one that did that, so good for Brian.
Yeah, he was looking forward to making his first final table, but came up short. He got it in a coin flip with sixes, and they did not hold.
Well, obviously, Sherry's got the dream. She's picked up aces on the button, and there's going to be action coming into her.
Yeah, this will be interesting to see how she plays this. Now, she is on the short stack, though. Same thing that happened to her last time when she picked up a big hand in a similar spot. And she elected to just shove it, and she's going to do that here as well.
4 folds.
And
I would definitely say this just goes fold because Collins raising under the gun is going to get this queen jack in the muck, and then obviously the 7-5 cannot call off.
yep.
To be fair, I think you're probably right, but Collins is thinking, I do have a pile of chips, 5-7. You know, if she's shoving with 2 big cards and
He
ace
might
king,
think
ace
he's
queen,
live, yeah.
right? That I'm not that big of a dog, as we can see here. He is,
Yeah.
but even then, 7-5 is a good ace cracking hand.
The old
so-
ace crackers,
Yeah.
yeah, suited connectors.
Yeah, he's still at 28% here with the 7-5 suited, and he's doing the math to see if it makes sense to call, and it's probably
Yeah.
borderline. He's not going to do it.
She hasn't really gotten out of line. I don't think he could come up with that because we've seen some big hands from Sherry.
And Chad, just to circle back to Ku Vang, who, as you mentioned, busted 14th here today, but Ku Vang has 22 MSPT main event cashes, which is unbelievable.
Wow.
That is number 1 all time. He has 7 main event final tables. He fell just short today of number 8. He, of course, also has an MSPT title, and he's on track to be one of our. We've got probably 3 or 4 that are pretty great pace to potentially be our first ever MSPT Hall of Famer.
Little consolation prize for him is that entering into season 9, there were only 4 players who had cashed every season of the MSPT. There were 5 in season 8, but Joe Matheson failed to do it, so it dropped down to 4, looking to continue the streak. And by cashing, Ku Vang was one of them.
Yep.
The aforementioned Dan DQ Hendrickson was another. So those guys already got their cash for this season out of the way. They're kind of, free rolling that streak.
Yep.
The other 2 that are looking for a cash at some point this season are Jeremy Dresch, who busted earlier on day 2 out of the money, and Matt Kirby, a 2-time MSPT champ. He was not here this weekend, but they've got all year to do it. So.
Was Matheson here this weekend?
I did not see him.
He must have been protesting after losing his streak in December.
6 folds.
Well, we've obviously got a little bit of a situation with 2 of the big stacks. Van Sickle on the button raises to 175 with jacks, and Collins defends in the big blind with a pair, which he should.
I think I see a jack. No, I seen paint on there. I thought one was
This
jack.
could easily go check, check. If Collins can come up with a bet here, he could take this away.
7 checks. 4 checks.
Now this is interesting. Collins is leading out. Van Sickle could think I have just picked up a straight draw, but I think he might actually come up with a call here, Chad, because of that 10. But he's also thinking this guy's got more chips than me.
Yeah, a lot going through in his head right here. He's thinking, did he pair the 10? Is that why he's betting? I can beat 10s right now.
Does he have diamonds?
Does he have a queen or a king? They got me crushed, but I'm still drawing live. I think you're right, though. I think he's gonna make the call here. Either hoping that 1 or 2 things happen: that he improves, that he either makes a full house or the straight, or that he calls and it slows him down to go check check. But
I
I'm
think
wrong.
that nothing's wrong with the fold there because of the stack sizes, but the hand is tough to play. It's that's why betting is important in this game, right? You can't let someone take control of the pot in certain situations.
So we've still got 6 remaining, all with a great chance here to pull off an MSPT victory, and for each one of them it would be their first. Everybody guaranteed just shy of 20,000. We've got Sherry Hammers, Bob Van Sickle, Joel Doring, Mark Collins, John Redding, and Aaron Johnson, and Minnesota representing here in the home state.
Wow, another big hand
This
here.
is have you seen a final table like this in a while?
Yeah,
where there's
usually-
many big hands.
Usually we're waiting for big
Wow.
hands like
Yeah,
these. We're
usually,
praying.
yeah. This makes it a lot more fun to watch, I'll tell you that, but
It's not always like this, folks.
Let's see how it plays out, though.
Sevens, tens, and queens. It's unbelievable. It's hard to get one of those hands, let alone 3 every single hand.
So we got a raise, we got the flat, and now it's on Redding, and he's going to jam it.
Wow.
This is going to be a tough spot for Van Sickle. That's right on the edge.
I think
Dorian's going to be able to
he's-
get away from this. We've already seen him fold ace-king to a 3-bet.
I think we're going to see
I think
two
he's going to
folds.
see. I think he's going to call here, Chad, because of the stack sizes. He's still in the tournament if he loses, and because what does John have? 1.2.
Yeah, he'll still have it. It looks like he's going to fold. That's a big fold.
It's a great.
It's hard
fold.
to pick up 10 6-handed, and he does make the laydown.
And Buring here, yes.
Yeah. He's
Don't
had to
see how
make
he
a
could do
couple of
that.
big
That
laydowns
might
as
be
well. He had
one of
ace
those
king.
hands where John watches his back and thinks, how did I not get paid there?
Yeah. It's be interesting if John tells him what he had.
I don't want to raise, yeah.
Oh, nines. I thought they were tens or sevens. Same thing.
I don't have my racing gear on yet.
Well, that was a good, healthy pot for John, which he needed. He had been in a downswing. Came in as, was he the chip leader? Did he come in as the chip leader?
I don't have it.
48.
Was John the chip leader here? I think he was.
Yeah, I think he was. I
And
thought I saw he
Sorry,
tweeted that
sorry.
out.
Yeah, he had
He was
not.
definitely one of the bigger stacks.
He did not have many hands to play in the first 2 levels.
By the way, if you want to follow, since we actually have a real poker hand where nobody has anything,
4 folds, 6 folds,
if you
7
want to follow some of these players on Twitter, some of them probably tweet during breaks. Sherry Hammers is at 2 Stinky Kings. That's the number 2 Stinky Kings. And of course, What's in my closet. So 2 Stinky Kings. Van Sickle, Doring. Van Sickle doesn't have a Twitter account, but Joel Doring is, as I mentioned earlier, at Bluff Whisperer. John Redding is Kikimo88. Kikamo 88.
65.
And Aaron Johnson at it's actually AYEGEEJ. IGJ? Is that how you would say that? I should have asked him. But anyways, at
Yeah.
AYEGEEJ, as in JYA. JAY. Geez, I'm butchering this. Everybody on their computer, type it in right now. AYEGEEJAY. Boom.
Got it.
And he already said he's boring, so you got.
Yeah, I'll
Those
tell you
are
what
his
wasn't
words.
boring was his play just now on the Battle of the Blinds. He made a good raise against John. It was a very good play on the big blind. Got
4 folds.
Dorian with another ace king. Man, this game is easy.
6 raises, 175. 7 folds.
think
8 folds. 9
this
folds.
is just going to get through, which is maybe painful for Doring, but there is no such thing as a bad pot to win at a final table. That's a nice little pickup. These
The
antes
worst,
being at
the
10K.
worst to win is when it just folds to you, you get a walk in the big blind, and you look down at aces.
I never look at the cards when I get a walk because of that. There's no reason to. That's just me, though.
A lot of people are just too curious. They've got to look.
It can get you thinking about it, and you got to move on.
Oh, Chad, after this hand, we are still very early in the season, but if you don't mind, pull up the Kimosabi Mezcal Player of the Year leaderboard, and we'll run through a couple names anyways at our next break.
Absolutely.
Or at our next Between Hands.
Well,
Dorian-
worth noting, whoever wins this event will get 1,600 points, which will automatically put them into a tie for third place, depending upon whether or not any of these guys have cashes earlier this season. I don't think they do.
think so, no, because we've only had, we've had the Cleveland event, the Venetian event, and the regional at
Right.
Evansville, so pretty scattered as well.
Now, this is an interesting spot for Sherry here. Deering made it 175, and yeah,
Four folds.
she's
she
gonna
just
call
flats.
3 players.
So she's set mining at this point,
Right.
So if she doesn't improve with a set or some sort of big straight draw, yeah, with that flop, she's done with this hand.
Yeah, I believe this is going to go check all around.
Collins has an interesting spot here because he is the chip leader. I do
And
think
yeah,
he'll pull it out a bit here.
I forgot he had the chip lead. That's
Top
definitely
pair
a big
and
difference.
just shy of 3 million.
Yeah, he's got to lead out and take control of this, and it should get
7
through.
by 3. 50. 2 folds.
That's why having chips is nice.
Yeah, it's a little bit more of an aggressive bet than I may have put out there, but it probably will get the job done, and he's going to likely scoop this pot.
6 folds.
Right.
Dorian has had to lay down some big hands.
He has.
He keeps getting them. He's being put in some tough spots, but making the right plays. And
He's still sitting there.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
All right, I'm going to jump in here with the MSPT Season 9 Kimosabe Mezcal Player of the Year leaderboard. As Brian, you just mentioned, we've only held 2 main events so far this season, which just started the calendar year. So basically the top 10 are comprised of people who made the final table at either the Venetian or the Jack's Cleveland Casino.
Yep.
On top right now with 1,800 points is the winner of the MSPT Poker Bowl 2, which was the Venetian event. That is Kafir Nahum. Traditionally, though, the winner of that event hasn't chased, the plate POY because they're based in Vegas usually. And
this year now we do have a handful of events in Vegas, so it's possible that he could bank a couple more,
Right.
but generally not likely.
And right behind him at 1,700 points is the winner of the Jack's Cleveland Casino, the Cleveland Poker Open. Abdul Amir Dooley is his nickname. He's from Ohio, so there's a good chance we could see him at a few more stops throughout the year.
Yep.
And then in third place with 1,600 points, who will be tied with the winner of this event, is Matthias de Sirac. He was the runner-up at the Poker Bowl 2. Probably won't see him again. I think he was from Belgium, so.
Yeah. We've got some tough names for you here.
You're doing great with those
Can it just
names.
be Aaron Johnson and John Redding?
Adam Friedman, though, a good
Yeah.
buddy of yours, he's in 6th place right now, a tie for 6th place with 1,400 points. He finished 3rd in the MSPT Cleveland Poker Open. So,
And he generally plays a handful of MS. He usually gets to, of course he'll get to any Cleveland event. He'll get to all the Michigan events, and he generally gets around to 5, 6, 7 events a year. So
Well, John has
sometimes
let
makes
out
it up here to Canterbury.
with the King 7 of spades and the hijack, and Van Sickle just defends with the Ace Kings, playing pretty snug. And this is not going to be what he needs. And obviously, John picking up the flush draw. This should go bet, fold, and we move on to the next hand.
he sees the lead pre-flop. He's got position. He's got the better draw.
Oh, well,
So
he could be thinking he's good here.
Van Sickle with 2 overs.
Oh,
and
wow.
He does get there.
That's
And
wow.
he checks pretty quickly to John. John's still sitting okay. He's got 6 outs to the flush draw.
It's an interesting spot for John because he either could take the free card or he could represent this ace if he doesn't think his opponent has it. And it looks like he's going to go with that latter option.
Yeah, either way it's fine, but this is obviously not going to get a fold. But like you said, Brian, he's still got outs.
5.
The board is paired, which might slow him down, but most likely not. If the spade came, once he makes the flush, there's no getting away from it. And Sickle will probably just call out. I would like a raise here, a healthy raise, but
4 calls.
he
He's
just
just
calls.
going to call. We're going to see the turn. We'll see the river.
He will probably check.
4
Yeah.
It's an interesting card, though.
I think
It's a good
John's
one
gonna-
for John to bluff that.
I think he
If it comes to
I think he might wave the white flag here.
with a flop of 9-10-9, where John bet the flop, bet the turn. If he bets again here on the river, Bob's got to potentially consider that he has a 9 or 10 in his hand. And is he willing to call with that ace?
It's
That's a
such
tough
a
spot.
big
That's not a
decision.
that's not a good river card for Bob.
He does wave it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he waved the flag.
He's going to be
And
happy
he's
he
disgusted.
did. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
he's happy he didn't fire though. There, you know. Well,
No, of course, but to Brian's point, the story makes sense if he's saying I have a 9 or a 10.
right. It would have been definitely a tricky spot to put Van Sickle in.
Yeah.
You know, and
I was just curious to see what decision he'd make if John fired another bullet. But okay, this is Brian Molesky, Chad Holloway, Keith Heine at Canterbury Park. Upcoming events, we've got a few weeks off, but then we hit Meskwaki Casino for another 300K guaranteed event, Tama, Iowa, and that's always a great one. Last year in March, I think we had darn near 470 runners for that event, and of course, the awesome thing about Meskwaki is they have cheap hotel rooms, and a lot of them.
Right.
So, you know, for $49, $79, $89, you can head down to Meskwaki and join us there for the MSPT 300K guarantee, and that is the main event. There is March 23rd through the 25th, and then Chad, we've got a packed April. We go to Potawatomi Casino, which last time there we set a state record over 700 runners in just 2 flights.
a record that still stands despite you know, some competition.
Yeah, they tried, but couldn't quite keep up. And so that's in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and again, that's another 300K guarantee main event. That is April 6th through the 8th. That same weekend, we have a $360 regional event at Golden Gates in Colorado, and that event also broke the Colorado record last.
People come out
last
in
time
swarms
out.
there.
Yeah, that was a huge event, and so that is simultaneous with the Potawatomi main event. And then the weekend after, of course, we've got the Golden Gates Casino, which is, for those that don't know, that is Black Hawk, Colorado. That is the main event there. That guarantee has been increased to $300,000 as well.
Yeah, they'll get that very easily.
That is April 13th through the 15th. Then from there, Chad, I know this is a stop that you're really looking forward to. You were instrumental in making this one happen. That is Deadwood, South Dakota, the Silverado Franklin Casino, and I'm looking forward to getting out there because there's so many touristy things to do, and we're going out there a couple of days early to check some of those things out. And you know, Mount
Have you seen
Rushmore's
the show?
not far, and no.
Deadwood?
I've seen it, and it should
Okay.
be going while we're there. They do like a street performance show.
Oh, it's
an
yeah.
old shootout.
I've
you know,
heard how
and-
fun it is to go out there and play poker and see some of the sights.
It's like
So,
being in the Wild West is the way I picture it.
We
yes.
actually had a couple guys from Deadwood drive out here this weekend to play the MSPT because they're very excited. We're going to
Yeah,
the Silverado.
and they wanted to practice, right?
They wanted
Yeah.
to get some practice
Wow.
in and see what it was all about. So they're very excited about it. And like you said, I am too. When I was there, I visited the property and just the property, the town. I thought this is a great spot for an MSPT.
Yeah, and back in the day, they used to host some pretty large HPT events out in Deadwood, so they just haven't had anything out there in several years. So we're anxious to bring that back, and that is April 14th through the 22nd.
7 calls.
And then, man, this is about a 5-week run here for us. We're right back here at Canterbury Park. So main event is April 27th through the 29th here at Canterbury Park, and that might be the time we break 500. We would have done it this weekend had it not been for a few inches of snow on Saturday, but
This is,
I feel like that might be the one.
3 players.
And of course, a huge summer coming up. Grand Falls, we got another big regional at Grand Falls in May. We've got the Firekeepers event, which the last 2 times have been over $1 million prize pool each time. And then, of course, a huge summer at the Venetian in Vegas with, I think, over 12 million guaranteed. So get over to msptpoker.com and check out those upcoming events. Hopefully, we'll see you at a few of them.
I'd also be remiss not mentioning, since we're here at Canterbury Park, I know it's a long ways off. It's only February, but in December, at the end of the year, we're going to be right back here for the season finale, the season 9 finale, and that is going to feature a $500,000 guarantee.
Yep.
Wow.
Looking forward to that. That's never been done here in this state, that large of a guarantee. So that's going to be big.
I'll be here.
Yeah. Hopefully not in the commentator booth with us
That's
at
the
that
goal.
time,
That's
but-
always the goal.
6 folds.
Well, we are slowing down on these monster hands. It's kind of balancing out a little
Yeah,
bit.
this is supposed to be how it really is. Who wants the As Matt Alexander mentions all the time on these broadcasts, who's going to take the pots that nobody else wants?
Yeah.
Because those chips add up.
You know, also making a return appearance this weekend was the MSPT sandwich, which was introduced last December.
How many times did you and the sandwich meet this
I
weekend,
want to
Chad?
say 4. It was not.
It's very popular.
It was
yes.
good. I had one too.
We'll find out. I'll find out from the staff exactly how many burgers were sold over the week. It was their sandwich of the week. I don't have it off the top of my head, but when we were here in December, I want to say it was 400-ish for.
Yeah, the number of I don't even remember.
It was
a
huge.
It was a huge number.
Yeah, it was like it was around 320-ish or something. Because I remember it was like 47 a day average or something.
Okay.
It was just just a very popular sandwich. If you get a chance to check it out, try it.
Yep. Have you said what's in it?
God, I'd have to think. It's like a pork
pulled
shoulder,
Yeah,
pork
pulled
shoulder.
pork. Yeah.
Bacon, maple bacon or something.
Yep.
Cheddar.
Pretzel bun.
Yeah, some coleslaw on there.
Yeah.
It's just, and it's all local ingredients,
Yeah.
and it works.
And I believe there's no calories.
Yeah. Yeah. Did we not mention?
And it looks to me I've been looking here. It looks like Collins might be trying to take control as the chip leader and take those pots that nobody wants, as you were saying, Brian. He seems to have amped it up a little bit.
That's something me and Brian have talked about many times over the last 2 seasons, is who can recognize what's going, the table dynamics, and realize that that somebody needs to step up and do it, and then actually do it. Because there's been so many final tables we commentate where the opportunity is there, but nobody wants to step up and do it.
As I always like to say, there's no small pots anymore.
And Collins plays way better than he stacks his chips.
And this is perfect timing because the table feels that he's bullying, and now he picks up a premium hand, ace king spades, under the gun, mind you. So this could slow it.
300,000.
Yeah. There's nobody behind him with anything.
This is not
to really.
They're just in their head. They're thinking this guy is pushing us
Well,
around.
it was a huge raise. It was 5 times the big blind.
And I don't know if he was thinking this, but maybe he was trying to say, "Oh, I know they are seeing me push them around. I'm going to overbet this."
All right, it wasn't quite 5 times. I see the blinds went up to 40-80.
Okay.
Yeah. Even though there you see it's wrong at the bottom, then I'm assuming 30-60. I believe it's at 40-80.
Is it okay?
I do believe it went up. So
You are correct, I believe. Here we go. Let's check this out.
Well, we have a moment. I have to.
40-80.
the clock doesn't seem to be coinciding with the blinds.
Which is going to mess up our stacks.
I guess we only had maybe 3-4 hands to take off in between premium hands again. So we have another pair versus ace king. Sherry is all in with the ace king, as she should be. The
Fourfold.
5s on the small blind is interesting. He does have the big stack on the big blind behind him, and the last thing you want to do is call and be re-raised.
Yeah, it's a tricky spot.
350.
I think he's going to let it go.
And Dory knows most likely he's racing at best in this
At
spot.
best, yes. He's going to let this go.
It doesn't mean he won't do it.
He's already made some big laydowns. I don't see how he can't lay this one down as well. He's so frustrated that the big stack's in the big blind.
7 call. Oh, that's good.
And that's the proper call from Collins because he knows he's probably got live cards. With that stack, he has to see.
It's also good too to show the table that I have been raising a lot, and I'm willing to call with a mediocre hand.
That's a great flop for
Right.
Sherry.
And we all know what Doring's thinking right now.
There's another jack.
He's only
Okay.
got 4 outs. One of the 10s and one of the 8s have been folded.
Can she fade it for the double?
And a jack up.
Here comes the horn.
Let's hear it. Where's it at? There it is. And obviously, if Doring had just re-raised and jammed, Collins can fold, and and Sherry's out, and and he would have doubled, but he did not.
I'm not sick of that horn yet. I'm cool if she keeps winning pots.
That's I've never heard that at the final table, and that's awesome.
Pocket fives.
Yeah, he's in a bad spot there with the fives. Great double up for Sherry though. She just won't go away, and that's what you got to be.
And you see right there some pretty strong V-pips compared to what we're used to seeing.
Well, it's all these big
I was
hands.
just gonna say it has a lot to do with what they're working with.
That's how good she is. You only need
Makes it for exciting poker though.
I gotta tell you, Brian, I'm digging the new felt for the season 9 felt here. You can see the Kimosabe Mezcal is the new logo. Yeah, another
More
big hands.
more very playable hands here.
Jack, 3, or whatever. 9 folds.
Come on.
2 moves all in. 4 folds. 6 folds. 7 folds. 8 folds. That's it.
By jamming there, Sherry, I think, picked up some Waller and chips, but had she just put in a raise, I think during, it probably would have jammed his ace-10.
It was a great bet by Sherry.
Michael School. Yeah.
Brian Molesky, Disco Chad Holloway,
A few good men.
and number 2, Keith Heine. I'm just kidding. He's won a title too. I can't give him too hard of a time. Look at this. Ace King suited. This will be an interesting
King,
spot
queen, and another
because
pair.
this is a good hand. Oh, she is going to fold it. Okay.
Great. Just shows you the way you can play the same hand. She just folded it there, where she had raised earlier. Great, great fold. Now, obviously, Van Sickle is going to raise with the
200,000.
Ace King.
6 and 7.
John Redding in the small blind with a pocket pair. He's got a short stack.
I think he will definitely.
I think he's going to go.
I think he's gonna go for it.
Yeah, like you said earlier, he's playing to win.
Yeah, I think he.
8 moves
Yeah.
all in.
And it's going to be a snap call and see who wins the race. He asked for a count.
Yeah, not a fan. When you have a stack like that for Van
Yeah.
Sickle, you have Ace King suited, you're not going to
Never
fold it.
folding.
Yeah. It's, now John is.
It's not a slow roll as it is.
I don't think it's done intentionally. And
Right.
he's.
Well, I think John will be a little bummed out when he sees the Ace King suited flipped up. Because right now you can see he starts to feel a little comfortable.
Well,
he's
I don't
actually-
think he's bummed. He doesn't have. He's not up against a pair. He got
Right,
what he wanted.
he's excited. It's not pocket 4s or 5s.
He's actually a fave.
He's probably shocked that it took him that long, but he's got what he wanted. Just can he fade?
4, 7,
He does
That's
on the
a good
flop.
Backdoor flush draw for Van Sickle. Ace and a king will be good.
there's a 6 of spades.
Oh wow! Yeah, that added some outs.
Yeah, I'd say 5 outs to 11 outs.
It's too many outs. You can't hit this many outs.
There's a king.
He
Wow,
does
he does.
hit one of them. A king on the river is going to spell the end to the WSOP bracelet winner, John Redding.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're going to lose Redding in 5th place. Is that no 6th place? Correct.
6th place, yeah.
For $19,466. This was John's 11th cash, 4th MSPT final table. He now has a 5th, a 3rd, an 8th, and a 6th place finish. That puts him up over 120K lifetime on the MSPT. So I know he's bummed he didn't win, but congrats to him on a fantastic run.
He's had a good couple weeks actually. He just was.
Right.
He final tabled the WSOP circuit main event at Potawatomi
Yeah,
2 weeks ago.
yeah.
And you know this why?
Oh yeah, I was there too. Humble brag.
Sick brag, man.
No, it's a great job by John though. He just
What
he
did-
got in some bad spots.
So what did John take home for? Where did he finish at?
He
that final
finished
table?
third. I believe it was around 85,000.
That'll work. So he's pulled in over 100K in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah. I didn't finish second. All right, so Collins,
250.
He's doing what we've been saying. He's taking control of this table right now.
And I don't know, at this location we generally know a lot of the players because I've been, we just see a lot of them so often. But I'm not real familiar with Collins. I didn't know him before he started making this deep run, but he seems to be playing real well. And
I've seen him out there a few times. He's a great player. He's very solid. Doesn't usually get out of line.
You've seen there on the chip counts, actually by eliminating Redding there, Van Sickle's taken over the chip lead. Not much more than Collins, but those are the two big stacks right now.
The question will be, will Van Sickle open up a little bit? Not saying he's playing bad, but he's obviously playing a little bit more on the tighter side. Will he open up a little bit with his chip lead?
With his stack and five-handed,
Yeah.
Sherry Hammers, Bob Van Sickle, Joel Doring, Mark Collins, and Aaron Johnson, your final five.
You can see there, it says Johnson has 610K. You can tell he has more than that with the stacks. Those are unofficial chip counts, and I think with the blinds getting a little tweak there that impacted that, but we'll get that corrected on the next break, if not sooner.
491 runners down to 5 here at Canterbury Park.
Guaranteed just over $25,000. That's pretty impressive. Nice, as I always say, nice weekend's work.
Let's keep going at a nice pace here because Chad and I like to get this Canterbury event over by midnight because Canterbury has they have Kimosabi at their bar.
They do.
And,
they make a
I've never had
margarita.
Yeah, they make
I
a
have
mean,
never had the Kimosabi.
It is so good, and we may have had a couple yesterday, but we like to tear down the set, get things wrapped up, and stop over for a Kimosabi margarita before we...
Is tear down the set, that's not a saying, right? That's not like, that doesn't mean something else, right?
No, we got to tear down the set. Just what you're looking at.
I'm just kidding with you. We got to tear down the set. Van Sickle with the King-Queen suited versus the big blind with 10-7 during. He should put in a raise here, and I would be shocked if Doring did not just give up, which he should.
200,000.
And Sickle has not shown anything but primo hands. Ordinarily, that may not be an instant fold, but with his reputation and the cards he's been having, you just got to give it up.
12 minutes left in this level, then we will kick it up to 5,100 with a 10K ante. And those stats, of course, are since we, when did we start this final table? 8-handed?
Yeah.
Well, we started at 10-handed, but the broadcast started 8-handed.
And right now you got...
Oh, I was going to ask you a question, Keith.
Yeah.
You didn't go to bed last night because I saw you at about noon today, and you had pulled an all-nighter playing the cash games here at Canterbury.
Yes, yeah.
Which they have a ton of.
Yeah.
Which game were you into that kept you there all night long?
It was a very, what I thought was just going to be a very simple kill some time game. The one, what is it?
So 1-200 spread.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not it doesn't play very big, which is fine because I was just wanting to kill time, but it played like a 5-10.
And what that means is there's no limit games aren't allowed in Minnesota.
Right.
So the 1-2 are the blinds, and then 100 spread means you can bet anywhere
up to 100.
Right, up to 100. So it could go, I bet 100, and then Keith could raise it by another 100.
Yeah, it's a different game. It's something I haven't played a lot of. I'm used to just regular no limit poker in the cash rooms, but it was fun. But I just probably should have maybe. Oh wow, nice flop for Johnson.
7 checks.
Might actually get a call here from Collins because that paired board doesn't look too bad for fours, depending on the bet.
Yeah, and Johnson is generally pretty deliberate. He likes to think things through, and
9 bets.
He's gonna-
130,000.
Collins will probably just put out a call.
he's counting out some call chips there.
And he's looking for the case 4. The 4 of clubs was folded.
He's got the coolest final table shades I've seen in a while.
Well, now it looks like he's putting together a raise.
This is a good idea, but just not the right spot. I don't blame him if he does do this raise.
7 raises.
But obviously with
30,000.
the situation, Johnson.
Love the heart. He's going to fire it out. Johnson's not going anywhere, though. He'll likely shove all in, considering what he has behind. He's currently thinking about how to extract
How do I get
the
most
entire
chips?
stack.
Well, he's only got 785 behind, 300 to call. I guess he could smooth call. That would be a good play. Obviously, he knows he's not behind. Not many draws right there. And that's what he does. That's a good play.
Yep.
Collins is that could slow both of not both of them.
So he sniffed that out. He's like, that doesn't feel correct, and he checks over to Johnson.
He has no option but to just put the rest of it in there. You can't. That's a very, what do we call, wet board.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And this should obviously be over
And
after
he's
this.
not. Looks like he's going to fire out about half of his stack.
9,
And I don't see how Collins can continue here. He doesn't like the 9. He doesn't realize how far behind he was.
No, Collins. I think it was like Johnson has a monster. I'm out of here.
Good pot for Johnson. He needed that.
5 players remain, all guaranteed over 25K, 25,638 to be exact. Bob Van Sickle, your current chip leader. Collins, a little ways behind. He's led a fair amount of this final table, and Doring and Hammers now under 10 big blinds. We'll have to make a move before too long.
Yeah, with the blinds going up, it's definitely going to be the time to get hit with the deck, which doesn't seem to be a problem at this final table. Lots of big hands.
Two folds. 4 folds. 6 all in.
Stop making me laugh, guys. Back here. Goodness gracious.
Doring on the button, don't blame him here. That's a 8-6 suited on the button against the blinds, plays pretty well. Collins
730,000.
with the ace high. I think he's going to fold here. He does not like his spot.
Fold, 9 folds.
That's a good play by Doring there.
Yep, folds to him on the button. He jams, and he's going to pick up some chips. On to the next one.
Those pots are very important pots, like you said. Those small pots that don't have big hands behind them. So Sherry's at 790K. Not out of this by any means.
No. As you can see, it's still 25% of Van Sickle's sack, so.
Yeah.
And she's had a tendency to pick up some hands in these spots when she's needed them. And they've held up, too, which is way more fun than when they don't. Yeah, so, and back to that cash game discussion. So Canterbury's pretty well known for generating a lot of great limit players.
Yeah.
Because they play some pretty large limit cash games here. So, like, I think the most common game is 40-80. They do occasionally run a 50-100. They've been running, I think, a lot of 40-80 mixed, right, is what I've heard. And they have included recently 2-7.
Yeah.
So, that sounds like they've got a good mix of games there for the locals.
It was definitely an action-packed fun table that maybe I stayed at about maybe 8, 9, 12, 15 hours too long.
And by the way, this is a thoroughbred racetrack as well, so it is the off season, but they do have simulcasting, so you can come here and bet the horses around the country.
I've never I've never been up here for the horse races.
Six is all in.
I'd like to try. I'd like to see that.
Yeah, that's a fun night out.
It's 890. 9 folds.
So Dorian playing the short stack
He is.
aggressively here, and to perfection. He's going to scoop another pot and chip up again.
He's doing what he has to do. These are important pots, and obviously this is the same player that had to lay down so many big hands. He's playing well for what he's been up against. He could easily be out of this tournament.
Yeah, with that ace-king earlier. There you see the current chip counts. Sherry Hammer's in the danger zone. Going to have to make a move here relatively shortly.
Not a very talkative table, which is fine, but as most people that know me know, that
6 folds.
that's what I do.
Yeah, it is a little bit more of a serious table.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's the way some people like to play. It's a nice spot for the queen jack there. Obviously, she's up against the big one, but she's got to push. He's going to fold.
Yep, that's the correct shove, and it's going to hold.
He's showing her the respect by showing the 10 deuce.
491 runners down to 5. As I mentioned, everybody here guaranteed just shy of 26.
Oh, there's the horn.
There's the horn.
And as you see, just one small pot like that, what a difference that makes for the stacks at these final tables.
You see, these 5 players came back today at 11 a.m. We're closing in on 11 p.m., so already 12 hours. 94 players returned for day 2 action. 54 of them got paid, and now here we are down to the final 5.
And for those tuning in late, they're in the now in the 2 seat. 4th MSPT Cash, first final table, Sherry Hammers. In the 4 seat, your current chip leader, 3rd MSPT Cash, 2nd final table. Previous is a 7th place finish, Bob Van Sickle. In the 6th seat, Joel Doring, his first MSPT Cash. In the 7th seat, Mark Collins, 2nd MSPT Cash. In the 9th seat, MSPT All-Star, Aaron Johnson, 19 MSPT main event cashes, tied 3rd all time. His 4th final table, he's got an 8th, a 6th, a 4th, and guaranteed a top 5 finish here. He also has 5 regional caches on the MSPT, so pretty impressive,
Yeah.
and he's trying to close this one out for his first win.
Folds, 4 folds.
Yeah, I talked to him before the final table, and
6 checks.
he like John said, basically this is first or nothing.
Yep. Well, that flop misses both parties for the most part, and
Check, and Collins knows that his 4s are probably good here. During would have bet anything that he had with that flop, so he takes the battle. Well, that wasn't the battle of the blinds, was it? Under the
There was a
gun.
limp by Collins, and then a check the option
Right.
from During. They
But-
got one more hand, maybe 2, and then those blinds are going to go up to the 50-100,000 mark.
That is a big jump when you get to that point. 50, 100,000 does really change things. Should put a lot of pressure on the small stacks. As you guys have always pointed out, it's amazing the difference in the relaxation when people start to drop off of these final tables.
yeah.
Everybody gets a little more talkative and relaxes and realizes they're not that first person out, which there's nothing wrong with being that first person.
That
I've
is
been
tr-
that guy before too.
That is true. It tends to play a little bit, and this final table did as well. It played relatively tight early. We didn't get to see it here on the stream, but it took us a little while to get from 10 down to 8.
Yeah.
7 raises.
It played a little bit tighter.
This is interesting here.
305 total, 305,000.
I don't think he can just call with the queen jack. I would either push or fold here. It's obviously a tough spot. Great raise by Collins. No, just pointing out that he knows.
Yeah. He's established himself as an aggressive player here, short-handed, which is what you got to do to chip up.
I'm surprised he didn't just shove it when it folded him in the small blinds.
Yeah.
Got 11 bigs. The blinds are about to go up, you know, and you're going to get even shorter. The Queen Jack is a huge hand.
It's a standard shove, but as we've seen from Doring, he doesn't mind getting away from hands, and you know what? He's still here. He could be rewarded like he was with the Kings after he laid down the Ace-King. But as you said, that's a good spot to go ahead and apply the pressure. He still has, you know, folding value. His stack is enough to where Collins didn't want to just pay him off.
This be another one of those spots, you know, it's going to fold to him on the button.
And any ace you have to shove here.
You go with it.
And it should get through with both Collins and Johnson having
Garbage.
very below average hands. He's got it. Oh wow.
Okay.
See, and, you know, I'm not a fan of, you know, weak aces by any means, but
No.
And like you said there, he's shown a proclivity to get rid of a lot of hands, which is fine, but you can't keep doing that over and over. You're just going to get whittled down.
But to his defense, you know, earlier he was applying pressure with the Queen 10 and I think he had a Jack 9 suited or something. He's definitely mixing it up, and that's a good thing. But as you can see, he's down to 8 bigs, and that's
Yeah, I think that was just one of those instances where he had just done it. And
Yeah.
You do it every, you know, that move works till it doesn't. So.
yes. And Sherry's sitting over there kind of, I don't want to put words in her mouth, but she's maybe hoping he drops. We're always thinking about that laddering up.
Move up 9K.
We got Sherry with the ace on the big blind, and this is obviously a shove from Doring here. Yeah, with the King Queen.
7 folds.
I don't think Sherry can call. You can push with the ace-6, but you can't call. And I don't even mind if she does. It's 50-50 in my mind. Yeah.
She's going to make the laydown, and as you mentioned, it's a lot easier to shove with that hand than call it off. So the blinds have gone up. We're up to 50,000, 100,000, 10K ante. So this will certainly entice a little bit more action, as it's
designed to do.
It's 200,000 per orbit.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. We're gonna go, what is she doing?
It's probably the same hand.
Yeah, you hear him laughing at that?
I doubt it.
We're high five in there.
Out of weak ace.
Yeah, they're laughing at you.
Now,
Yeah, I know.
don't know if I would have told him that I folded a weak ace there.
Brian and
But obviously they don't know she's telling the truth.
This is the last. We got a break after this level, right?
Yeah, we have one more level.
7 raises,
I don't learn. I know. I am trying to
240,000,
learn. I am
240.
learning.
She's not going to get away from this 10 jack, which she shouldn't.
I'm sorry,
On the small
220,
blind.
220.
She should definitely just push.
Okay, 2's all in.
Yeah.
9
Yep. So
folds.
Collins. Wow, this is a great spot for Sherry because Collins opened with the 4 deuce suited, and so he's already committed.
He's going to get rid of this one this time, though.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
he's got a pile, and now that he's got a couple 100K invested, he may consider it. But I think ultimately he'll fold. But we'll find out here in just a few seconds.
Let's see, it's 450K to call. You know, that's not just a
670,000.
flick of the wrist
So he's
kind of
already
call.
got he's got
I would-
220
yeah.
already invested, and he is going to lay that down, and that's nice for Sherry. She's going to pick up 360K, and we get to hear the
There's
horn.
the
again.
horn. Great play by Sherry.
Are you laughing at that one?
It's anybody's game right now.
Yeah, for those asking for Tom Hammers to be in the booth, probably be a little bit of a conflict of interest because we can see the hole cards live.
Be like,
we're the
excuse
only-
me a minute, I gotta text my wife.
I've got to go run out there quick and tell her to fold. He's got aces. So, yeah, we would not do that.
I think he wants to be out there.
We
with-
love Tom, and he's always welcome in here, except when his wife is at the final table.
Collins is gonna put in a raise here.
I'm really liking Collins's chances for cruising here to a victory. I think he can get this done. I really like his style of play. He's aggressive here, five-handed, and
300,000.
from what I've seen, he definitely has the game to take this down.
He has a good combination of aggression, but he knows how to get rid of it when he needs to. What's key is that he needs to, concentrate on his bet sizing, make sure that he doesn't put too much out there whenever he does get 3-bet and 4-bet.
I also think there's a big roadblock in between, and he's just waiting right now, is Aaron Johnson.
Yeah.
He, five-handed, he knows hammers and Durian are short. He's kind of just cruising
He's
right
smart
now,
like
but
that,
he'll shift gears at some point.
And Van
agree.
Sickles sitting on chips, like we said, playing pretty ABC snug, and there is nothing wrong with that. If you've got the chips,
Yeah, he's gonna get himself in a position to win this thing here.
So I was thinking about that at the bubble time earlier today. How, usually when I make it to the money bubble, I'm sweating it. I'm one of the shorter stacks. Like, come on, is this? But that comfort level when you just have a big stack and you just don't really have to worry about it. You can just patiently grind, wait for a hand to come to you.
that is a great feeling in poker tournaments.
So
It's just so rare.
Yeah.
For me, anyways. For me.
It's rare for most tournament players.
So Collins asked what the record was for
Yeah.
the most hands here
Stay up there with me.
You're going to see a
at
call here.
at the final table, and this is only hand
There it is.
45.
Yeah,
It
there
doesn't
it is.
include
Blind
the first.
versus blind. I don't blame
Again-
Collins there. He's got an ace
Yeah,
with the shoving range.
suited as well. That's
Right.
that extra 1.5% or so.
And of course, he's dominated, but let's see what the flop brings. Wow.
Wow.
Bingo for Collins. He pairs his kicker, and not only that, picks up the nut draw.
That's a
nut flush draw.
Yeah, that's a terrible flop for Doreen.
What an unfortunate flop. Oh,
Oh, he hits one of his two outs.
we're on a roller coaster.
Yeah,
here. That's
it's not over yet. There's
and he's
9
got plenty
outs.
Collins got the redraw for
And an 8 of spades.
Oh, it was black, but it is a spade.
So again, Doring
hand.
with his
with the huge double.
patented fold, wait for the big one double. Great patience on his part. He got it in very good. Obviously, got outflopped, but that's why we have
He got
5 cards
He
out
got
there.
unlucky, and then and things worked out the way they were supposed to. A hand held.
The suck out and the resuck out.
Meanwhile, Sherry Hammers is like, I just got, I could have laddered up $9,000.
Yeah, it's buried. It's actually my favorite thing here.
Yeah, what a
She
heck of a
seems-
flop, and what a turn card.
That's a
Like a sugar
an action-packed flop for
There's
sure.
something that reminds me of like candy from when I was a kid.
And if you see the chip stacks after this, if these numbers are correct, I believe that almost puts them even.
It's called
Is that right?
But it's the
We'll find out here in a second. Don't go by the stacks all the time on the.
No, you
on the screen.
can't.
They'll be off a little bit until we can get them updated at the break. But if you're in the Minneapolis Shakopee area, the schedule hasn't been posted for the April Canterbury event, but I would expect that satellites will start in probably another month here. Generally, they run $65 satellites on Thursday evenings. A good month in advance, and the top 20% of those satellites advance to the 250s, which can, of course, get you into the main event, which will probably be near, maybe greater than 500,000 this April. So check msptpoker.com in the near future, because that schedule will probably be up this week, the next couple of days, if you're looking to get your main event seat at a low cost for $65. Joe Matheson that you mentioned earlier, Chad, he at one point in time took a $65 satellite and turned it into over 90,000. So
Wow.
that'll work.
That'll do. Sherry's under the gun here with the 6-5 suited. Bad spot for that hand. Should be interesting with the battle the blinds. Well, actually the button as well. I think he's going to get away from it since he already. Well, he might put in a raise. What do you think, Chad?
I mean, I'd probably put in
he's
a
been
raise
playing
with an ace,
the way he's been playing. I kind of figured he might get rid of it.
I think so. Collins limps the small blind. Johnson, I think, is going to exercise his option with the raise, and then I think Collins might peel.
This.
Oh no, he just shoves
Wow.
it. So yeah, he's not going to do
That's
it.
a great
now.
play.
I like it. He's
Great
going to
play.
take it down.
Could have been a huge pot there.
Yeah, it could have played out a lot different, but
He just took control and
he
said,
did.
if you got a bigger pair, fine.
30 minutes left in this level before we go on our second break of this final table. It is 11, Make-A-Wish, gentlemen, 11:11 Central Time here, just south of Minneapolis. These players started a little over 12 hours ago.
Long day, but you can't get tired now.
It's worth it at this point. Got to close it out.
Well, we got
Van
some big
Sickle
hands
picks
again.
up the ace-queen. Collins with tens, the two chip leaders. Let's see if we're going to get any fireworks in this spot. Who wants it more?
250.
I think you're going to see a raise from Collins, and the way Van Sickle's been playing, I could see him getting away from the ace-queen, depending on the raise size.
no raise coming. Just going to call it.
Wow.
Yeah, he's in position, so he's just going to make the
And
call
I
on
like
the button.
that. There's
Yep,
nothing
for
wrong
sure.
with that.
Right now it's 50-50. Well, 54-46 technically, but
Pretty much a coin flip.
2 players. That's it. Hold on a second.
Bob wants a good look at the flop. Now he does not want to see the flop. Collins acts pretty quickly. I enjoy that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Big fan.
Now, if you remember earlier, he did float with the ace-king.
In a very similar position. He was out of position and
And he hit the king on John.
called with 2 overs with the ace-king. This would be a very similar move here if he makes the call.
I enjoy you a lot.
He's thinking about it.
Not that much.
Yeah.
Yep, he's going to do so. And we're going to get to the turn.
I may not have, when you're out of position, that's a little, I'd like to either raise or fold there when you're out of position, but, we'll see what the turn brings us.
Check, 4 checks, 7 checks.
Well, it's going to get Collins
check.
to slow down anyhow. Well, Collins is going to feel real good about this.
Yeah, they just,
I would have liked to
says
see
there's
him
enough
bet
out
for some
there,
value
but
on the river, but
10.
he's going to scoop the pot.
I'm not really sure why he checked the turn. With the reputation that Van Sickle has had, he's played premium hands unless he put them on jacks or better. But obviously,
No chance, I don't think.
nice pot for Collins, up 940,000 on that pot.
And Bob's going to pour himself a drink and get reinvigorated to take that chip lead once again.
That pretty much puts them at a dead heat.
And we're getting low here. Something needs to happen shortly.
Yeah.
Someone needs to bust. There's been a few double ups.
Yeah.
If we can get another double up to hear the hammer horn over there in the 2 seat.
Van Sickle liked his drink, by the way. He said it was very good.
must have been Kimosabe Mezcal.
Yeah.
But it's so sugary. It tastes very
Oh, battle the blinds here with the aces there. That should be interesting. Unless,
Yeah, it's going to fold the hammers here, and she's going to jam. And I think Bob's going to make a call, and this is going to be a great spot for hammers to potentially double up and get the hammer horn fired up.
I don't think he'll call if she jams.
She's pretending like she's going to make a decision, but she's going to get that ace-jack in there.
He is thinking it's so close.
Her range is going to be fairly wide here in this spot. Bob, it's in my opinion, it's a pretty quick call with the ace-9.
With his
his
image, that's why I thought he might think on this one.
It's definitely the bottom of his range
Right,
of what he would
right.
be willing to call with.
I
And
don't
he does.
blame him for calling at all. Great spot for Sherry.
I get it in with the fist pump if someone jams into my ace-9 in that spot.
I agree.
And now I would not be fist pumping, but I would have initially.
Sherry, a big favorite.
Well, what was that all about?
I don't know why
I think that was Tom. I think that was Tom. He likes to. We
have chop outs.
Chop opportunities.
Looking for.
All right, so that's
Nice
that's gonna
double.
hold for Sherry.
And just look at.
Hammer horn.
I wonder how Tom feels about that horn.
He's probably the one firing off.
No, he's not doing that. Oh, nice pot, nice timing. And I don't really think Van Sickle can get away there. It's like you said, a pretty standard call with his stack and an ace-9 against the other blind.
All right, well,
This is
that
evening
is
up
great
quite a
for
bit.
hammers, except the only, in terms of this final table, that doesn't eliminate anyone, which means we're going to remain somewhat short overall.
This is about as even as it gets as far as anybody's game.
That's what I was thinking. Nobody is in the extreme danger zone.
Yep.
Eventually, they're all going to be fairly shallow in chips.
Yeah.
Nobody's too deep.
That's how poker works. If the blinds keep going up and you don't bust anybody, things get shallow.
Very shallow.
Buttons on the move.
She's very polite to the dealer for pushing all those piles of chips to her. Thank you.
I love dealers too that shove chips my way.
It's always
Doesn't
nice.
happen often enough. And we're gonna get a dealer change here.
Yeah, it's-
Preston rolling in.
Collins still holds the chip lead, but as we were saying, it's not as much distance between him and the rest of the field as it was. It's very even right now.
Chad is checking out photos of his dog.
No, they're not mine.
Oh, they look close.
So I got to tell you, I got really tired of my Facebook feed. All the politics, all the bad news, sad news.
Yep.
And like last week sometime, I joined a bunch of Facebook groups for, I have Weimaraners. That's the breed of my dog. So I joined like 4 groups about, Weimaraner owners. And now when I refresh my feed, it's just a bunch of pictures that people post of their Weimaraners. And it's so refreshing.
Just a bunch of cute doggy pictures.
Yeah, exactly. It makes me feel a little better about this world.
That's very nice, Chad.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Hey, I don't have, the wife and the kids and all that. I got dogs.
You should be happier then. What are you talking about? Yeah. I think Keith and I are the one that need to look at the dog. We got the kids driving us crazy.
By the way, boys, if
So
you're still
expensive.
up, I don't know if you're still up, but go to bed, please.
Yeah. School in the morning, right?
Yeah, they're not in bed.
They're
There's no way.
listening to Dad.
And that's okay. That's fine.
So it's actually Johnson here in the cutoff raising with Queen 8 offsuit. Sherry with the pocket 5's going to call, and Van Sickle says, I've had enough pocket 10s, and he's going to jam it. He's going to win it, I
with
think.
that reputation, I just don't think she's just doubled up. I don't see how you can call off that much with 5s.
By the way, if you're watching this final table and you're new to poker, the odds of getting pocket 10s are 1 out of every 2 hands. You guys probably didn't know that. Everybody gets them every hand. This is like the this is the 17th time we've had pocket 10s.
He sold
You
that
guys
so
are
well. I was like,
Yeah.
do I need to
That's
go
why I
back
can
and do
bluff all the
some
time.
research?
What am I doing wrong?
Yeah, it does seem like it, doesn't it? Yeah, either ace king, ace queen, or 10s is coming.
You
One out
might
of
think
2
1 in
hands.
200. No, it's 1 in 2 here at this final table.
Yeah, she had to fold there. It's wow, look how even that is. And Johnson, obviously, he's at the bottom, but in nowhere.
And again, as much as I don't want to see anybody bust, we're going to need to do so we can have a little poker.
Yeah.
Because it's getting really shallow right now. But when you have good players, it's tough to get anybody out. That's how it works.
I would be really shocked if we didn't have somebody drop before the end of this level, though.
9 full.
Finally, we have some normal garbage hands. Jack 8 suited in the big blind is by far the best hand, and you
Two
might
folds.
get a walk.
4 folds.
Can During come up with...
6 folds.
Oh, just
7,
just
10.
Yeah,
limps.
he's going to get to see a flop here.
Yeah, I'd like to see a continuation bet there, but it's there we go.
Jack Eye's good.
6 bets, 100,000.
The 10 high betting into the Jack high, and it looks like he's going to get through. That's a very nice pot for Doring. Am I saying that right? Doring?
Sure.
Doring?
Doring. Just like it's spelled Doring. Simple.
So he's Doring, but Johnson said he's boring.
Yes.
Right, I got it.
Yeah.
It's confusing.
491 runners. We are down to 5. And here at Canterbury Park, the original home of the MSPT.
We reminisced a little bit about that. I asked you some questions during this weekend, you know, trying to think back to 2009. I think I asked if, you know, the tournament took place where it was this weekend in the side room or if it was back in the main room. And, I mean, it was so different back then, though, too, because it was only a one-day event, or one starting day and then day 2.
Yeah, it was just satellites leading into one flight. And I think if I looked back, and I did actually... I used to remember all the numbers, but now we've had so many events that I can't remember anymore. But the first ever event here at Canterbury Park had 130 runners, and that was one flight. No re-entry back then. It was the first event ever, which is why this actually got popular, where it was a 2-day structure. So it took me a lot of... It was not easy to talk these casinos in Minnesota or up in the Midwest to do a 2-day structure at that time.
Yeah.
You know, you could find them down in Vegas, right? The Venetian or the WSOP, but those didn't really exist here in the Midwest. It was mostly just, even the 1Ks were one day. They'd start at like 10 a.m. and they'd get over at midnight, and that was the structure. That was normal. And so I talked them into running a 2-day structure, which sounds simple enough, but it is 2 days that you have to pay your staff to host a tournament, right?
Yeah.
So that money's got to be stretched out a little bit. You got to find a way to pay for that and have it make sense for the casino. And it's not as simple as a lot of players might think that it is. But we got it done, and it's been rising ever since. So.
2 calls.
And this is my home location. It's just 20 minutes from my house.
I was just going to ask you
so,
if this is your home.
So I get to. It's kind of nice for me because I get to sleep in my own bed, and
2 checks.
and
Ooh, interesting here.
I can be home to shovel my driveway when we get a
I
foot
know
of
you
snow.
guys have to shovel a lot up here. Wow, what a flop. Doring made it 300,000 from the cutoff with queens, and Sherry defended, which she should, with the king 10 suited in the big. She spikes the king, but he does have the queen of diamonds. I could definitely see a call here,
6 calls.
which he does.
So Dorian has 4 to the flush. He does not get there.
Check, check. That's
The
exactly.
king 10 is good, and Hammer's going to scoop another pot. And just like that, she's going to be up to 2.2 million.
Yeah. And there's
And the
the
hammer
horn.
horn. Hashtag
The hammer horn.
Oh, by the way, Chad, why don't you, we had floptheworld.com is now doing our, some of our apparel because it was, to say the least, something that I didn't love to do all the time because we have so many other things going on. That we found a third party who we are excited to partner with, who's also going to offer our apparel online, which is something that we haven't done in the past, which is pretty cool.
Exactly. So starting with this stop was actually the first.
Yeah.
We partnered with Flop the World, a local Minnesota company, Ben Valder and his wife, I think it's his wife or girlfriend.
Yeah.
They run the company and they have great products, so we said, hey, let's get together. So if you go to floptheworld.com, click on collections, you will see a MSPT page, and it's there that you can find t-shirts, hoodies, hats, There's tank tops. There's going to be more as we go along. We'll
Yeah.
figure out, what people want, and we'll be carrying some of that product to stops throughout the country as well. So you can still get some apparel in person, but otherwise you can jump online and order anything you want at any time.
Yeah, and it's great for me specifically because at a lot of our stops we have players that come up all the time looking for certain things or certain sizes, and to carry a lot of that stuff around all the
Yeah.
time, carry that inventory is just a difficult, it's a tough task. So now that we have a vendor that'll offer the stuff online that you can order it directly is
What's
pretty sweet.
it's just floptheworld.com?
Floptheworld.com. Pretty cool name too. And by the way, they have a lot of cool shirts with phrases on them. Run like God.
Yeah, they've got their own brand line.
I hate poker. Yeah, Flop the World has their own products as well, and they've got some cool one-liners on some of that stuff. So get out there, floptheworld.com. Check it out.
Yeah.
I actually picked up a couple of shirts myself the other day.
7 folds.
I think I have to get one of those. We can go online and order those shirts, huh?
Yep.
So I'm going to tell the
Oh yeah,
missus-
because you were telling us
Yeah.
earlier that your gal was for 3 years now been asking you
Yeah,
for an
Kim.
MSPT shirt.
Kim's been yelling at me. Why don't you bring me an MSPT T-shirt? Well, now I could just tell her to go online, which she's very good at doing.
And buying stuff.
and buying stuff.
I'm really excited.
Well,
because
Dad's away. Mom shops.
by having
She deserves it.
so much online, there's different colors and sizes,
Yeah.
and you won't believe how many times we will have like a small petite woman come up and say, "Do you have a small shirt?"
Yeah.
And I mean, like, no, there's really not that many small poker players out there.
We've
I
got-
know.
Yeah, we're much more likely to have 4X,
Right.
than which is the truth, than like a small.
Right.
So this will work out slick. 13 minutes left in this level. MSPT 117 at Canterbury Park. They've got a, Chad, I don't know if you know this, but they've got a huge shopping district and offices and housing, all sorts of things that they're building on this massive property in the next few years. I don't know if you've seen some of the drawings. I may not be doing the drawings or the plans justice by what I'm saying, but that's pretty cool. This is going to be a pretty built-up area over the next few years.
It's gonna be pretty crazy to go from a horse racing track, and then you get the poker and the cards, and now it's gonna become more of like an entertainment destination.
Now, they're not building a hotel? Somebody told me that they were. Is that something that could be down the line?
I don't know. I can't speak to whether they're building one on connected to this property or not, but there is a
Oh my gosh,
of hotels
it's amazing.
within 30-second drive. So
It's literally under a minute.
I don't know that that's a huge need or
Well, I
not,
mean,
or
yeah.
what their plans are, but
Somebody
That's
had mentioned
certainly
it.
gonna be-
That's the only
yeah.
reason
I mean, I'm
I
sure
don't want to start rumors.
I'm sure in February we'd all love to not have to go outside to start our car to drive 30 seconds to the hotel, but it's not the end
You
of the
could
world.
literally walk here from some of the hotels, though. So it's not bad at all.
Speaking of hotels, I'd be remiss because I got really excited about how cheap they were. That Deadwood stop we were talking about earlier.
Oh, yeah.
So we've got a hotel deal worked out there for as low as $19 a
What?
night. Yeah, like $19, less than a $20 bill. That's during the week, I think, and then even though on the weekends it's only about $85 a night. which is-
$85 on
right.
Friday and Saturday, 19 the rest of the week. And when I was talking to John over there, who's the hotel manager, and he's like, yeah, we just try to unload the rooms at cost so people come out here and gamble. And I'm like, of course.
Right,
That's what
that's
it's all.
the
He
smart-
goes,
yeah.
we're just, all we're trying to do is break even on the room and,
Yeah.
get people out here to enjoy the facility and do some gambling, eat some food.
Well,
enjoy
when
the
you're
shows.
traveling playing poker, anything you can do to shave off some of your expenses is
it's huge.
Is huge.
Yeah. So $19 rooms Sunday to Wednesday out there at Silverado, and then $85 on Friday, Saturday.
And, I mean, I think it's going to be great stop, great poker, but it's also like it's a touristy place. It's a historic Deadwood,
Yeah.
The Mount Rushmore is
That's
an
one of
hour
those
away.
where you want to get there and bag Friday. So
I
you
was
have
just
Sat-
thinking
so
that.
You have so you have Saturday to.
You bag on Friday,
But
and
even
then
if you
have fun on
don't, and,
Saturday.
and a lot of people ask us about the noon start time, about the different start times at
Right.
the different locations. Well, that's part of the reason we do that sometimes. And again, it really depends on the market. But like in Deadwood, for example, it's a 4 o'clock start time on Flight 1B. So like a lot of our players that travel in, that gives them an opportunity during the day to go visit some of those stops, get the touristy stuff done. They can still come at 6, 7 o'clock late reg and have plenty
Oh, yeah.
of chips.
late regging in these
and we-
tournaments is very common.
And we have a ton of players that do family stuff all day and they'll come out late, or that if with a 4 p.m. start time, they can drive 5-6 hours to get there and fire a bullet or two. So,
So something interesting happened. Van Sickle opened up under the gun with a queen nine of spades, which is very below his normal range, which is fine because he's noticing he needs to open up. He has ran into Doring's king queen, and this board is not going to be good. I do think this is going to get in.
Yeah, I mean, a queen high flop. Both players have a queen.
Yeah.
And Van Sickle firing up 400 in. There's 1.3 million in there right now. I think during jams there's 2.5, and it's what? Well, it'll be 800 more for Van Sickle to call.
Sherry did defend in the big blind, but she's going to get away from her ace-5 off.
Yeah. And you know, it's just going to be 2 for...
6.
Wow.
Whoa. Whoa.
Not expecting that.
Wow.
That's a really tight fold by Dorian there. And Bob is going to be extremely happy when he sees this later that he's going to scoop that pot.
He did do it under the gun, and he's been showing nothing but premium hands, so maybe he put him on aces, kings, or ace, queen. I'm not folding there, I could say that, but I'm also not sitting at the final table.
But you've been there before. You've won one of these things. You know what it takes.
I do, but
I don't know if
I'm not.
I don't know if laying down king queen on a queen high flop,
I'm not folding.
five-handed is going to get you to the winner's circle.
No,
yeah, it's an interesting play.
So we've got some Van Sickle with the king queen, Collins with the ace 10. We know Collins isn't laying down the ace 10.
That's a primo for Collins, which is good.
And he's going to act quickly.
This is going to be interesting what Van Sickle does on the big blind. He will at least call. I don't think he will 3-bet. It's not his style.
He'll probably see a flop here.
I wouldn't 3-bet with the king queen either. Plays well after the flop, and let's see what happens here.
So Van Sickle's going to get the best of it with the queen high board. And
let's see if he folds his king queen here.
This is not going to get thrown in the muck. I would be very shocked.
Now, I will say that Van Sickle has played a less than ideal strategy by as you'll notice in almost every pot that he's in, heads up, he's out of position.
Yes.
Not ideal. It's not. You know, sometimes it's just chance, and that's how it works out. But
he likes to check call.
Yeah.
Which is fine in certain spots, but I would actually just like a call here. There's no way that you're behind, and you're playing. Oh wow.
Okay, so
that's going to be the end of that.
Out of the norm, and that's something that he hasn't done before. He's going to check jam, and
I don't mind the jam right there, just in case another spade rolls off, or
I think it's great because even whatever happens on the turn, you still got to make another decision.
If you're confident you have the best hand, but you're kind of scared of what's to come, then just jam it and take it down.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Either way can work.
You'd hate to see Bob busting fifth if something happened, but yeah, no problems there. And Bob's going to be of course, I guess now that I look, Van Sickle's got him well covered, so no problem.
It was a very healthy pot for him. Yeah. Put a little distance between him and Collins.
And hammers with the third stack.
Yeah.
We got 7 minutes left in this level, and then we're going to take a break. When we come back, it's the interesting level, 6120, the ante doubles to 20,000. So that's always a big mover shaker level.
Yep. And especially with as short as this table is playing right now, that's going to make things a little even more complicated.
Everybody wants to play a tournament to get to the point where your ante is what your starting stack was.
4 fold, 6 fold.
Johnson with the ace-9 is going to get this through. It's a great shove. Knows he's probably good with the ace, and he picks up the pot.
491 runners down to 5 here at Canterbury Park. This is round number 30. This is now I don't have the stats. It did take us a while to get from 10 players down to 8. But since we've been 8-handed, from 8-handed down to 5-handed, this has been 60 hands, so that's a fair amount.
Yeah.
Right away, we had some fireworks. We got down to from 8 to 5 relatively quickly, but it's been pretty stale since.
11 and 20 or so.
Everybody playing pretty solid.
This is whoever bets first kind of hand. I would assume that this could even be a walk.
I haven't seen Dorian allow a straight walk yet.
6 calls.
So yep, he's gonna call. We're gonna see a flop with these two amazing hands, and that's gonna miss everybody. We're gonna get a check.
And Collins
I take
realizes
that back. I forgot
that
that Collins was last to act. He's gonna bet and take it.
yeah,
Still don't even have an aftertaste, right?
Dorian has to give it up.
Or a, sugar-free thing.
He's still raving about his drink. Must be really good stuff.
Slammed it. Everybody here guaranteed just shy of 26K.
That's what I drink with vodka.
Sherry Hammers out of Eden Prairie, Minnesota. Bob Van Sickle out of St. Paul. Joel Dorian out of Brooklyn Park. Mark Collins out of Morrow, Illinois. And Aaron Johnson out of Red Wing, Minnesota.
These are the interesting moments in tournaments. Is final few hands before a break.
You're not at the final table.
Doesn't really have it as much of an effect on a final table, but sometimes it's whoever wants it more before a break tends to get it.
Now, Collins is a system administrator. Says he just plays twice a year, and that his largest career score is 1,800, which is, of course, now this event. But that surprises me because he plays extremely well and extremely aggressive.
He knows what he's doing.
Certainly has the skills to, or the game to take down a tournament. So that surprises me a little bit. Maybe he's a little newer to the game. I don't know, but
Two similar
Chad,
hands
can you
seeing a
look
flop
up
here.
Mark Collins on Hendon? And that surprises me that he doesn't have.
You think he's forgetting about a few
Is
big
he
ones?
sandbagging on the sheet here? I don't know, but I don't know. He seems to play a fairly decent style to take that could turn into some tournament wins.
And he's flopped the flush draw here, and during and he checks the turn.
I got a Mark Collins from Morrow, Illinois. He's got $3,289 in lifetime
Oh,
earnings.
that's surprising.
He's not
me.
sandbagging. He
He,
does hit the flush here.
He placed 73rd in our MSPT regional event at Potawatomi last year in July.
Interesting.
That was
So-
the record-breaking field I talked about, 1,658 entries.
So he's got 3,200 in career earnings, and he's on pace to win 100K here today.
It only takes that one tournament to
He doesn't
To start
seem-
you off.
He certainly doesn't seem like he's inexperienced in this position. So
no.
that surprises me. He's got what it takes to win this
He
event.
seems pretty calm, and like he's been there before, which is good.
That's great. And if he's coming to Milwaukee and then Shakopee, and he certainly is going to get a big score today, I have a feeling we're going to see him a little bit more often.
This is interesting hand here. We have a pair, and
So, yeah, Bob's got the fours under the gun. He's going to open.
Doring's going to get rid of his ace two.
Yeah, that two kicker's not going to work in early position.
I think Sherry's going to just flat, as she did earlier
Yeah,
in the same spot.
Queen Jack of Hearts is too pretty. You got to see a flop with this one. So she's going to call, and we're going to go to the board and see what we can see who's going to connect, if anybody.
What is that card going to be?
And nobody connects. Van Sickle still with the best hand.
Yeah, he should definitely
That's-
fire out here.
That's a pretty good flop for his hand.
I would bet at least half the pot.
350.
That's a pretty big pot, but there's
350.
nothing wrong with that. Or a pretty big bet, but
Yeah,
takes it down.
I would have gone a little bit more on the 175 side, playing that hand in position, but. it
Oh, I thought he
was a-
bet 350. Did he?
Yeah, he did bet 350.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Yeah,
a
oh,
little
yeah.
different than what I would do, but effective. He takes it down, and Van Sickle continues. The first player to get up over 4 million.
Oh yeah, he's at the 4 million mark.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
And in
almost got
control.
double the next stack right now. So
that's always a fun place to be. I mean, so I've heard.
I think this is the last hand before break. From what I think I heard the clock.
Yep.
And obviously Johnson with the 8s on the button.
Six all in. 7 fold.
Oh, wow. And Johnson's going to get... oh,
Yeah, so Dorian James, the queen 10, and Johnson's got a really difficult
9
decision.
all in.
and he
Yeah,
goes
and
all
he is
in.
going to go all in. Hammers and Van Sickle are going to fold. We're going
We
to
have a
have
coin flip.
Hey, you said these hands right before the break.
It's,
and,
it is weird how it happens. Dorian James with the queen 10. And Johnson with the 8s. Pretty good flop for the 8s.
So Dorian with 8 outs, any queen, any 10, they're all still alive. And Johnson needs to fade one of those.
And a deuce.
And he
That'll-
does, and that's great for Aaron Johnson. We've seen him not, have those hands hold up in these spots at previous final tables, but it will here. So we're going to lose
Wow.
Joel Dorian in 5th place, but he's going to take home a nice payday, $25,638. And
Yeah, he
when
played very well to get there, and he ran into some big hands today, too.
Yeah, and when we come back in 9.5 minutes, we are going to be down to 4 players. Van Sickle, Collins, Johnson, Hammers, everybody chasing $102K up top and the MSPT title here at Canterbury Park. 9 minutes away. See you then.
Math is going to get hard.
Go ahead. 60,000, 120,000 with a 20K entry. Button is in the TC.
All right, Holloway, we're back here at Canterbury Park. 491 runners. We are down to the final 4. Sherry Hammers, Bob Van Sickle. We just lost Joel Dorian on the last hand before the break. The other 2 still in. Mark Collins and Aaron Johnson. And your chip leader is Bob Van Sickle. It's been a bit entertaining final table so far.
It has. I've been pretty impressed, honestly, with everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody has shown some solid poker chops, made some big laydowns, big calls, big shoves, or what have you. They've all played pretty solid.
4 calls.
Or did we lose Keith, or is he just because we came back from break a little early?
Yeah.
All the players got back, so they said we'll skip the last 2 minutes. I bet you he's on the phone just telling his kids, "You better get to bed."
Check. 4 checks.
120.
7 bets, 120. Even though I don't believe you, I'll fold.
So there you see the blinds are at 60,000, 120,000, and the blinds have doubled up to 20K. Everybody here guaranteed a little over $34,000.
Good chip later.
MSPT 100 here at Canterbury Park.
A little over 4, I guess.
Collins scooped the first pot after break. Brian Molesky, Disco, Chad Holloway eating a scrumptious cookie right in front of my face.
Yeah, I didn't.
Just totally disrespectful.
Pretty good. You can have some.
Oh, yeah, now that it's almost gone.
Yeah, I'll take some of that side.
Help yourself.
I'm just kidding.
Collins picking up the jacks in the small blind.
4 raises.
After scooping a pot with the 10-9.
275. 275.
So Van Sickle getting a little more aggressive here. I like to see that now. Obviously, unfortunate spot because Collins isn't going anywhere, but certainly the right raise there by Van Sickle to make on the button.
Right. King high. King high's a very standard raise on the button there. He's going to get 3-bet. Johnson will get out of the way.
And you know all these guys just came back from a break and they were talking to either their rail,
Right.
maybe sending out some texts, phone calls, pick up a little information about what their friends and family might be watching on this stream. So definitely some adjustments going to be made here.
And what Van Sickle's maybe thinking is he found out that Collins has been raising a lot. Hopefully he doesn't
Seat 7 re-rated
put him on
is
something
85,000.
less than king 6, but I don't see him continuing this hand. I could be wrong.
585
The old swig of chocolate milk just screams strength from Collins.
So Bob's going to play here.
The question
He is
is,
on
is,
the- he is
does
on
he
the button.
4-bet? Thinking he's getting bullied right now.
Well, okay, so he's
No.
going to make the call. Well, and here's the thing. It's always interesting coming back from a break on these live stream final tables because a lot of these players, and Chad, you probably saw them, Keith, you saw them out there watching the TVs actually not far from this final table on their break, but not to mention getting phone calls or talking to other players that are watching the live stream, and a lot of times they'll come back and change up the way they play. Bob certainly has come back here a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah, and it's worked out here because he outflops the jacks with the king 6.
Yep, so he's going to pump out a bet here.
4 bets. 500,000.
Collins, now Bob
yeah.
probably realizes, wow, I was up against it there and I outflopped him.
Well, you did
He
it.
does show him the king.
Shows him the king.
Oh, that's
I don't mind
that's
that.
a good show because he assumes the other card's way bigger than a 6.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure Collins thinks he just got outflopped with, ace king, king queen. Good pot for Van Sickle there, in extending his lead up to 4.5 million.
More than 2-1 now over Collins, meaning doubles him up. Just kind of swap places pretty much, and
He's putting some distance, but it's anybody's game still.
Well, a couple big hands already, four-handed. Yep, so I think we're going to see, well, Collins is going to raise on the button here because that's what he likes to do, which is the right thing to do. He's going
Right.
to he's going to pop it. This will be an interesting spot for Johnson because he does have a playable hand with Queen 10. He knows that Collins is relatively aggressive.
Yeah, I think he's just going to flat.
9 calls.
And then
Okay.
that almost prices Sherry in with her king 9 of hearts.
Well, yeah, she's,
she's
the
already in.
yeah, I was
She's
going to
got
say
the
she's in the
option.
big blind, so she's got the option. She's going to
Oh, there
check.
wasn't a raise. Okay. I need to get more caffeine, I guess.
Alright, we have 3 players. 3.
It's a pretty even
Yeah,
percentages
32,
there.
32, 36.
And no diamonds
No
for
diamonds.
anybody.
So that's a great flop for hammers. She won't know that, though, because she doesn't have a diamond. But she is going to put a feeler bet out here to see where she's at.
2 bet.
Yeah.
Johnson does have
like that
second
lead.
pair. Collins is probably going to fold pretty quickly. He does. And Johnson's going to fold. Hammer's going to take down
Nice
the
pot
pot.
for Sherry.
And there you see it. It's quiet in the background now. Where's the hammer horn?
Maybe they need the
Where
caffeine too.
Tom- There you see Van Sickle well over 2-1 on the, he's darn near clean. He's got the entire table covered, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
If I saw that correctly.
If not, it's barely over him. Things should definitely open up though, being 5-handed.
Four-handed.
4-handed.
You do need some caffeine. You
Jeez.
did say you were up all night
I did. I'm sorry.
playing that spread game here.
Yeah, because I forgot about the last elimination. Last hand before
Last
the
hand
break.
before break, yeah, and we talked about it, but you were, late getting back from break.
Yeah, sorry. I had interviews to do.
Interview, yeah, for other commentating gigs.
Yeah.
Try to get out of this one halfway through.
Yeah, there's a raise on the button there from Johnson with the Jack 9, and obviously with the Ace Jack in the big blind. As he's not going anywhere.
All in. Okay, all in. And
Yeah.
others all in. 9.
Yeah,
He's
so
using
Bob-
that stack.
Yeah, I like that.
That's a
Well
good-
done, Mr. Van Sickle, and he's going to chip up some more. He's going to have almost everybody 3-1 currently.
Yep.
So it's a little bit shorter, but
Yeah, I thought he might have pushed the 5 million mark there with that pot, but he's getting close. They're all pretty quiet right now.
Collins took off the shades, so he's changing things up. That wasn't working.
Are those yours? Do you have a hand from the last hand? Or have they
And,
been sitting in there for a while?
Aaron Johnson's been relatively quiet. He hasn't had a ton to work with, but he just finds a way to get through these tournaments and get deep. And he's very much in contention here.
Oh yeah.
He's going to have to pick up some chips against Bob at some point, but in the Final Four, in the mix, as always. And I think we mentioned he's already got a 8th, a 6th, and a 4th, so he's guaranteed to at least tie his best performance in an MSPT main event.
He's got a good a seat on this table too, because Collins being the aggressive one being to his right,
Okay.
and Van Sickle being
And
to his
as
left.
I bring up Johnson's name, he is going to shove. We do not know what Sherry has, which means we probably have a peeled card.
She lets it go.
4 folds.
Now this is an interesting spot, but Johnson's got a lot of chips. I don't think this is, even though that Queen Jack of Diamonds looks pretty, it's not the right place to make the call, and Aaron's going to take it down.
It's obviously a hand you can raise with, but it's hard to call your whole stack off with. The big question will be if Johnson, Collins, or Hammers gets into a pot, the winner of that pot is going to get right up in contention with stack size versus Van Sickle.
Yeah, so with 4 places to go, 4th place is 34K, and then it goes up to 45K, then 62K, and then of course 102K up top. So we've got some fairly significant pay jumps coming here. It's very important to move up.
Two folds. 4 folds. 7 calls. 9 checks. 2 players. Heads up.
And we are heads up, Collins, Johnson. And Collins is going to flop a second pair.
Pretty strong
Johnson with
against the
nothing.
blind.
Collins will bet because that's what he likes to do. It's way more fun when you're betting. And Johnson's going to fold. Collins gets another one.
Nice, nice flop for the 9-8 there.
Once again, we'll be back at Canterbury Park in April. Get over to msptpoker.com, check that out. And by the way, we do have MSPT Magazine as well. That comes out right around the 1st of each month. You can get it at your local card room if they host an MSPT event. We ship those mags to all those locations. But it's also, and it's, by the way, it's free in those locations, so you can get it right here at Canterbury Park as well. But it's also free online in PDF format. And actually, I think, Chad, our March, our March issue is already posted. So they're generally online a week in advance in PDF format. So get out to msptpoker.com. You can check out the March 1st issue of MSPT Magazine. It'll have event previews, event recaps, player profiles, chipleadercoaching.com articles, Jonathan Little strategy articles, all sorts of great things. And of course, some ads from our favorite casinos and some of the cool promotions that they have going on. Speaking of promotions, by the way, well, we'll check this hand out. Hammers with the King 10 of clubs.
Two checks.
And Van Sickle should continue here.
4 checks.
He's going to check behind. Yeah, with his stack, I would have liked to see him pump a bet out there, but...
Well, she turns the clubs.
Yeah, I would have liked to see her take the initiative there.
Yeah, exactly.
Toss out a bet, but she's going to get to see it for free. 14 outs. That is not one of them.
Nope, and that's going to make Bob's hand real strong, so he's going to bet out here. Sherry will fold, and no significant damage done. That's one of those where as soon as the guy grabs his chips, I'm like, good bet.
Yeah. You can't wait to think about the next hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you
I
said,
know.
Chad, if she would have let out on the turn, that takes that pot. But he obviously, with the chips, can make the bet. Well, he hits the ace too. That makes it easy too.
Heck yeah.
He's on what we call a heater. He's had some hands since the break, more than anybody.
Yep.
And it
As you can see
shows.
there, he's got the entire table covered, up over 5 million. Blinds at 6120. Bob playing well, running well. That's a good combination.
The run well is the key part.
Well, it's certainly better to run well than play well, probably, but I think you got to do both most often to win a tournament.
Yes, you do. You have
And
to have both.
and to get into the Final Four.
9's all in. 2 folds.
Yep, like that move by Johnson there. Doesn't have a lot of options. He's got the threes. He's got a pair. He's going to make a move. And Bob has enough chips to call it off. He knows that Aaron's range is probably pretty wide here, but I do not think that Queen 8 is the right scenario.
No.
He's going to fold it.
Yeah. He's not in the mood to fold right now, though.
So we'll move on.
It's getting late. He's tired.
Well-
He wants to get this thing over
Well
with.
over 100 hands here at this final table. Big shout out and thank you to the Canterbury staff. Always put on a fantastic show. And Chad, this is one of those places where, especially for me, I mean, when I roll in, you know, we go to a lot of locations and we love to do it, by the way, where we're pretty heavily involved in running the tournament because, you know, they're just not as used to running these large tournaments. But Canterbury clearly has, not on top of MSPT events, because they also have the, and I'm actually going to try to play this in a couple weeks. In March, they have the Minnesota State Poker Championship. You know, a nice prestigious event here in Minnesota. But they run big tournaments, the Fall Poker Classic,
Yeah, the Fall Poker
all
Classic.
the time. So they're very accustomed to doing that. And so when we roll in here, I get bored because they just have everything covered and there's not much else for me to do personally. You guys are doing a great job live reporting. But that's fantastic, and that's why we love to come here.
Yeah. Sherry, obviously with the 9 bigs,
Heck yeah.
has to go all in. She's not going to get a call. She's mad about that, but and again, she won the pot, so she was not going to be unhappy with a call, though. Nobody wants to be the next one out, obviously.
They don't want to be out at all the rest of this tournament.
Somebody's going to get all the chips. How long does it take? I don't know.
You can even see just losing the blinds and antes significantly impacts your stack at this point. So you do have to remain pretty aggressive here. Let's see, we got 180. So it's 260,000 every 4 hands is what it's going to cost each player. That's pretty significant. So you're going to have to remain relatively aggressive to get through the Final Four.
And like you had mentioned before, it's who wants the pots that nobody else wants.
4 folds.
Collins is pretty good at that game.
Yes.
7 raises.
Now, Aaron is a smart player, and I know he would open up his range quite a bit here against Collins if he had something. He hasn't had a lot to defend with in most scenarios, and this probably isn't the spot he wants to put his tournament life on the line with, but just in case Collins actually woke up with something.
I think he's going to flat here.
Yeah, it does look like he's going to call. He's going to play this hand in position.
Calls.
Jack 9 is very playable. like
Highly
I said, in
recommended.
position.
That's a
Wow, this could be interesting here.
Well, and that's a huge check by Collins because that might make Aaron think he has the best hand here when in actuality,
He checks
that's
back.
Yeah, that's a huge check by Aaron.
And they both pick up
They
the
both
club
pick up
draw.
a club draw. This is a really horrific scenario for Aaron because
Yeah.
he's hit second pair. He's got the club draw. It probably feels to him like he's got the potentially the best hand.
I think he thinks his
And,
club is good for sure. and
So,
probably the jack.
Let's
so.
see how he played. I mean, he's played it correctly so far to lose the minimum, and he's going to get to the river here. Let's see if this can get worse for Aaron. What card can come? Well,
That's
that
actually
actually makes it better.
yeah, it's a bad one.
That's a bad card.
Less likely his opponent has one, and he
That's
pays
true.
it off real quick.
Yep.
You can't blame him there.
No, that's just, I mean, that board was just horrific for Aaron. He's going to lose
But he's not.
that each time, but
I think the impressive thing is that it didn't get in. He could have easily thought that, especially on the turn when he has the 9 of clubs, that he might be good.
he
So,
played that very well, and though that does do significant damage to his stack, nearly half his stack, he still has 930K. You know, doesn't look like a lot relative to the blinds, but it still is a good chunk of the other player's stack remaining at this final table. Not ideal, but still in the hunt, looking to best his previous best MSPT finish of 4th place. He's going to, everybody guaranteed over 3 stacks of high society. Chad, you're quiet over there, man. We got to pump you up a little bit. We need to get you some caffeine too, huh?
Right? Yep. I could use something, a little pick-me-up.
It's been a long day. Holloway's been live reporting all day long. By the way, if you want to check out how the day went down and how we got here, there's nobody better than Chad and Brandon doing the live reporting for the MSPT on our own
320,000.
on our own site. Get out to msptpoker.com, and what's cool about the live reporting that we do is that it's there forever. So you can go back and read up on day 1A, day 1B, see who the chip leaders were, day 2.
Yep.
Kind of fun.
I've done that many times.
If you're featured in a post, you can tweet that out or pump it through Facebook. Let all your friends and family know how amazing you are.
You could get
at
it
the
printed out
pokers.
on a T-shirt and wear it around.
Yeah.
You know, put it on a cup.
Yeah, you can go Matt Alexander on it and have a picture of yourself on a T-shirt and make that your make the picture of your T-shirt the profile pic on Twitter.
Yeah, it's getting to crunch time for Johnson here, and he knows it. He's obviously looking for a double, but this is not going to be the time. Collins is with the 7-5 suited on the under the gun. He's going to raise it up. Probably will get this through.
9 folds, 2 folds.
Although Van Sickle, like we said, since this break has been playing a little different, and it looks like he's not giving up on his King 7, which he's obviously got him dominated against us 7-5. And he does.
4 calls. Two players.
You have enough of my chips.
See what the flop brings us.
4 checks. 7 bets.
Collins with the gut shot
75,000. 375.
probably will get this through, and he does. Nice
Yeah,
bet.
Bob's gonna lay it down. By the way, Heine, tell your wife that until noon tomorrow, if you go to floptheworld.com, she can use the free shipping code. Final table is the code.
Final
All
table,
caps,
all
final
caps.
table, no space. Final table, free shipping on anything you order at floptheworld.com. So
Do you realize what you've just done?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I've just saved you shipping on everything she's about to order.
Yeah,
That's
but he's
what
going to
I've
end up spending...
I'll just say that
times
the
as much.
Chad, while you're at it, if you got a moment, pump that out through the MSPT Twitter as well.
Sure, what was the
That is
code
pretty
again?
nice.
It's just
Free shipping's always
final
good.
table, all caps, no space. Free shipping code on gear through floptheworld.com.
There's an Amazon box on my front porch like every day, just so you know.
Now there's going to be a Flop the World box.
She has been looking for that shirt. So we got a Battle of the Blinds here. Both playable hands. And Sickle's probably going to pump in a raise here. I can't see Collins just giving up on the king four suited.
4 raises, 260,000 total, 260. 7 calls.
And they're going to go see a flop.
You have to be so tired.
Collins is a slight favorite going to the flop with the king four of hearts.
You off.
4 checks.
Everybody misses.
It is not easy to eliminate a player at this final table. We're still four-handed. Blinds are getting up there. Stacks are getting thin. Who's going to run well the rest of the way out and play well and take down this MSPT title?
300. Yes.
Collins is thinking king high could easily be good here. Wouldn't be shocked if he calls.
7 calls.
Which he does, and he makes a good call so far. Can he fade the queen or the 10? Yeah, and he actually now thinks he has to bet to win this pot, I think, because he might be putting Van Sickle on ace high. And this is obviously going to get through, and
Well,
it's
this
going
will
to
be
work.
interesting because if Bob can sniff this out and make the queen high call, that'll be pretty impressive.
Well, queen high's behind.
Well, that's true.
It would not be a good call. He would have to raise. I don't know if he's just calling with the queen high would be very questionable. I mean, you're either folding or raising.
Yeah, he's going to make the call, and
Wow, he gets value out of the king high.
He's kind of right. He didn't really have much, but the king is good.
That was a. You've been saying let's play some poker. That was poker.
That was a good hand. That was fun. Even though they had nothing, it was a good time. All right, let's get a look at. Wow, that
Yeah.
evens things out a little bit, which is
Those
not
two
surprising.
are definitely distancing themselves from Hammers and Johnson.
Yeah, but Hammers and Johnson are one hand away from being right back in this thing.
That's how fast it happens.
This is going to be pretty action-packed the next 5 to 10 hands until we lose a player.
Be interesting. There's an $11,000 pay jump between third and fourth, so it's nothing to turn your nose
No,
at.
No.
you don't want to. You want to battle, that's for sure.
2 folds.
Van Sickle, yeah, I was gonna say he might think Jack suited there was worth a raise, but
120.
oh,
7 calls.
that's Johnson's okay with that. He's getting to see a flop with the 10-5.
2 players.
So Johnson actually gets the best of it here. He flops second pair, Collins third pair. But
7 bets, 225,225.
now,
Johnson's gonna.
yeah, he's got a tough decision here because he just doesn't have enough chips to call off random pieces.
Yeah,
He had the best of it, but he doesn't know that. There's no way for him to know that, and
It's a
he's
tough
going to
spot.
lay it down. Obviously, if he could watch this, he
It's
would
a lot
have
easier when
jammed it
you-
in there, but
we are all professionals when you can see the cards. It's a lot easier.
so there you go. And
How much time is this left on this level?
a lot of time.
Yeah, we just came back from break, Keith.
No, there's not as much time as you think. I bet you there's only 20 minutes.
It's still half a level.
You guys.
That's how you phrase it. It's perspective.
That's exactly. It's how you phrase it. Well, Van Sickle picks up the jacks. I don't think he's going to get any action. You mean this isn't a 15-minute level turbo? No?
Not yet.
4 raises. 300.
he's
Oh,
gonna
I was gonna say the jacks went away. I was like, what?
9 folds.
yeah, and he gets it through.
Oh, look at that. Less than 20 minutes.
See you guys.
11 minutes.
How about an
All right.
apology? Huh? Thank you.
That's not almost over. That's still a long time.
Yeah. I'll leave it. I'll leave it alone. Yeah, they're virtually tied with 4.2 and 4.1 million.
Brian Molesky, Disco, Chad Holloway, Keith Heine here at Canterbury Park, wrapping up a fantastic weekend. And then it's break time for myself and Holloway. And generally, Chad and I live about 3.5 hours apart, but when we get a few weeks off like this, we generally like to work on our breakdancing. And we'll...
Yeah, we'll meet halfway.
Yep, we'll
Usually
meet halfway
Eau
and
Claire,
kind of spot
Wisconsin.
each other on some moves sometimes. And
You'd be surprised at the breakdancing community
Yep.
in Eau Claire, Wisconsin.
yeah, it's unbelievable. And you know, I would have never have guessed, but since Chad turned me on to it 2 years ago when he started working for the tour, I just can't get enough.
Oh,
Wow, we got they both had an ace, and can't blame
Huge
either one
spot
of them.
for Hammers here. Needs to fade the 5.
the short stacks
And,
collide.
Johnson at risk.
Still needs the 5 or maybe a deuce.
Yep, Johnson
for,
with 6
running
outs.
Deuce or a 4.
5s and 3s all still alive. That's not one of them. But now he does have a 9 for an out.
9 or 3 will chop it.
Yep.
Wow.
And that's a
gonna-
great pot for Sherry Hammers. And unfortunately, Aaron Johnson, the fantastic MSPT hero, basically,
Yeah,
because he
he's
just
just on the
constantly
tour.
runs deep in these events. And as great as he plays, he just hasn't been able to run great at the right time near the end. But he's going to finish 4th again to match his other best MSPT run. But this time he will take home $34,183. And, I mean, obviously he's one of the top 4 or 5 MSPT players of all time. We're going to see him again and again and again this season.
Yeah.
So
It'll
congrats
happen,
to Aaron
but
Johnson.
that's a great run. 34,000. That's
Just
going to help the bankroll.
consistently puts himself in a position to win, and he will soon. Congrats, Aaron. And we're down to 3. Sherry Hammers, Bob Van Sickle, and Mark Collins. Let's pump it up.
This is fun because if you look at these stack sizes now, it is anyone's ball game,
Yeah.
and three-way poker is fun.
So Sherry up to about 1.7. He's got a little work to do, but in the mix, Van Sickle and Collins about dead even.
Battle
Within
of the lines.
100K of each other anyways, unofficially.
And here comes the 9-9 flop.
2 players.
The 9-9-5 flop, 7 on the turn.
4 checks, 7 checks.
So close.
So it was right there.
We got a chop going on at this
Chop
point.
out
If
at
it,
this point.
if it checks down.
And it wouldn't be shocking to see these two play it pretty conservatively, knowing that they've got Sherry Hammers at half the stack.
Rivet me. God, I dominated.
I hate to tell you, Bob, but didn't matter what was coming on the river. You were chopping it unless it was a, I guess it does matter, a 7 or a 5. But
I don't know if he was serious there or not, but
Yeah, you're right.
yeah, I guess he was.
Turned Edinburgh.
there you go.
There you go. You got it. He needs another one of those drinks that he was
I'm trying to
Yeah,
raving
when you
about.
put these two side by side on the screen, and it looks like they could be related.
Why
Bob,
is that, Chad?
Yeah, Bob. I mean,
What are you saying?
just the nose and the chin, maybe the top of the head.
491 down to 3, and there you got a good look at it. Hammers with, she's been grinding it all day though. She's she hasn't had much, you know.
She actually came into today with like 40,000, which was among the short stacks.
Yeah.
You know, the chip leader today had 370,000 or something. She's coming back with, you know, the blinds at 5,000, so she had, what, 8 bigs. that's not something you're excited. You think you're going to be out right away, and yet here she is. 12 hours later, more than 12 hours later, competing for big
For a
prize
title.
money.
And it seems like every main event, there's always somebody.
And that's why I tell people all the time with these MSPTs, just get to day 2.
Just get there.
Anything can happen once
Yeah.
you're in day 2.
We almost had a fantastic story today because the lowest stack heading into day 2 was actually 10,000, which when we get to day 2, the blinds are 1,500, 3,000
Yeah.
to start day 2. And I forget the gentleman's
right.
name. He had a 10,000 starting stack. Within a half hour, he was up over 300,000.
Wow.
It was a dream run.
He was just cruising and eventually fizzled out, I think, somewhere in the 40s, but
Yeah.
he did cash.
Yep.
He
Made the money.
cashed. Wow.
Yeah, he cashed for a couple grand and couldn't keep it going. But there you go, up from 10,000 to 300,000. One of the chip leaders actually within 30 minutes.
That is a run.
And,
Well,
parlayed
That's
it
what
into a
Chad
couple
said.
grand.
You just got to get to day 2. And we both have a pair here on this flop. King, obviously, for Sherry, top pair. And Collins leads out with the bottom pair. Which,
Yeah, and it's at that phase of game. It's not easy to flop a pair.
No.
Now you're three-handed. If you flop any of it, second pair, third pair, it's it's pretty normal to keep it rolling and try to take the pot. But Sherry's got the best of it
Yeah.
here with top pair.
I was saying Sherry's got to
She's
go ahead
gonna
and
get
push.
Collins. Well, Collins is going to think about it.
Yeah, it's basically a third of his stack to call. I don't know if I can just pay her off with 10-3 in this spot. Yeah.
I've got 3 cards. How did that happen? Those two were set together, and that's what I said.
Whoa.
I mean, I don't know what happens. I fold. Yeah.
Okay.
And so I'll tell you what, it'll just be a dead hand right
Yeah.
there, and Evers is going to win it.
Okay, you guys have done these, obviously. Have you ever seen that at a final table?
Sherry Hammers with 2 cards defeats Collins with 3 in this pot.
That's impressive.
It's unbelievable. That's how
certainly-
good she is, folks.
I've certainly never seen it progress to that point. Like most of the time it's
You know
noticed
it right away.
Yeah.
The whole time he had 3 cards. Oh, wow. That's,
Yeah, I'm not a tournament 4, but my guess is if it was called over for a ruling, it would have just been ruled a dead hand automatically, and that pot would have went to Sherry Hammers as it did.
That's
and interesting if the third one was another 3.
Oh, this doesn't go right.
There it is again.
Lord, what the hell's going on here?
So they noticed that right away, so this will be a misdeal.
I've never seen this before. Like, we've dealt 117 of these tables, and these cards have never stuck like that. So, somebody here's got Vaseline on their fingers or something.
That would have been my card.
Sometimes you wonder if, I have no idea, but does the dealer's hands get sweaty or something?
Yeah.
Like, I've never seen
I've
that.
never seen this either. That's it's a new one.
I've seen chipsticks together.
Even with these
before.
cards, like, these are normal cards. Like, I don't know. It has to be the way that he's dealing those cards. I don't know. I mean, I
Yeah.
hate to blame him because I don't know, but that's just really bizarre.
And there's certainly a different feel for, if any of these dealers were dealing cash games, there's a big difference feeling-wise between these cards and, cash game
Yeah,
cards.
they're certainly
what have you.
different. Yeah, different manufacturer, but
Oh, you don't see it?
Call.
or people have been playing with 3 cards forever and just never seen it.
Yeah.
They're like, sweet, this dealer keeps giving me 3 cards.
Playing pineapple.
Only Sherry Hammers can beat me.
Oh, 9 high flop if you get what you want here, Chad. Nope.
And Sinkle does pull ahead, though.
Oh, and he checks behind. Check that now, and that should end it.
200.
Sherry's thinking.
She's contemplating, yeah. So she's makes a in theory an okay call, but Bob does have second pair with the queen.
Not allowed to do that.
What? You have another
What?
problem? Shit.
Excuse me.
Check, check.
200.
Check,
200.
bet.
That is correct.
Check.
Obviously, there's
Yeah, Eric's a little messed up here. We've got you get on the MSPT. Sometimes you get dealt 3 cards, and we have a 6-card board. You know, we like to change it up from time to time. I mean, we don't want
New style of poker, I
when
like
we
it.
get 300 and all the money's on the line, we like to throw in some tweaks.
the queen obviously is good.
This is about the time we fire up the music for some musical chairs. These players will walk around the table till the music stops and sit down at the nearest chip stack.
Yeah.
You got to mix it up, you know. Everybody does normal rules. Maybe this next hand will be kind of boring and normal. No 3 cards and
Yeah.
6
Just
cards on the
see-
board. We are going up now.
Still at
Yeah, we'll probably get one more hand here at the 6120. Keep watching, folks. You never know what's going to happen here on the MSPT. We do have our the Holloway Frenzy hand coming up here soon, where one player will magically receive 7 cards.
Everybody got 2 cards?
Sherry says everybody got 2 cards. All right. And
We're going to start playing some mixed games. We now have Omaha three-handed.
Yeah, I think we're going to high-low and then a round of high only. Oh, down to the blinds here, Mansickle with the 10-6. Obviously, I would not just want to call here. You're either going to raise or just give it up.
Raise.
And Collins looks like he's going to go ahead and defend. Which he does.
Isn't there a fold button on your computer?
Oh.
8-8 king board misses everyone. Basically, whoever bets first is going to win here.
Fold.
And that's what we do.
Yeah, 160.
Blinds are at 80 and 160 now. Stays at the 20,000 ante.
Hammers up over 2 million. Sherry Hammers, Mark Collins, and Bob Van Sickle, your final 3 of 491 here at a stacked Canterbury Park field. By the way, this broadcast is being recorded, and generally within 48 hours we will have it back up on the MSPT site.
Yep, I saw that one actually too.
Two in a row, and then the third one.
It's kind of humid in
Warm.
here. Yeah, it wasn't like this earlier.
Yeah, that's probably a good speed to deal it anyway, you know, taking time. We're in no hurry.
You were earlier. Now he's had his rock star, and he thinks he's a rock star now.
Just for that, I'll raise your big blind.
Feels so personal.
But not much. Did I do enough?
20
No,
more.
320.
320. Raise it.
See, you got me not thinking.
It's
Got me
working.
all
It's
flustered.
working.
I don't even know what the blinds are, actually.
160.
Re-raise. 800,000.
Van Sickle opened here to 320,000. 3-bet from Collins to 800,000. Can't imagine Van Sickle going to continue with a King 3 offsuit, though he is on the button. We did see him play, I believe it was a King 6 not long ago. Flopped a King to pull ahead of Collins Jacks. Actually in a better spot here. He's only a 2-to-1 dog with the 2 live cards. See what he does.
Fold.
Wasn't that bad.
Does let it go. On to the next one.
Fold.
I see a little bit of fireworks here.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting.
And 2
This-
monster hands, 3-handed.
This is going to either be a big swing and Van Sickle and Sherry Hammers will reverse roles, or Hammers is going to be eliminated, because I think both of these players are going to get this in pre-flop.
425,000.
3-handed, these are 2 monsters.
All in.
And that's what
Snapped off.
happens. Yeah, Sherry wasn't going anywhere. It is a fair fight. It is a
Yeah.
flip.
Against Jack. Go ahead, Benjamin. Let's have a flop.
Lot riding on this flop.
He's got to take his time with that flop.
10-5.
Okay, that holds for Hammers, but
All the
Still just
aces
a
and all the
3-to-1
queens
favorite.
alive for Van Sickle.
There's a king.
And all the-
Jack is no good.
Yeah, Jack's no good. It would
everybody's
give
holding
Hammers
our
a vote.
breath that the dealer fires out just 1 card here on the river.
And a 4.
And the jacks
Wow.
are good.
Jacks are
Sherry
good.
Hammers into the chip lead, I believe.
Yep, that's going to be close.
Wow.
Up. Collins might still have her by a little bit, but it's going to be really close.
And that's how fast it happens at this stage of the tournament.
I mean, think of it. She started today with 40,000, and now she's got over 4 million.
Wow. And I don't blame Van Sickle at all with having the ace-queen. Obviously, the hands kind of played themselves. Hey, where's the horn?
Is it that late
I
already?
mean, that's the
Sherry's,
biggest pot.
the hammer horn.
The hammer horn's not good for
gone.
that one?
That's a huge swing. So Bob Van Sickle, who was in control a fair amount, at least the second half of this final table, takes a big hit. Now, that being said, we're still a long ways from him being out of it, because as we just saw, 1 hand and he's back into the chip lead.
Yeah. Can switch places quick, but what a good spot for jacks, and they hold. He says he can't win a race today. You're down to 3. Probably won a few of them.
Thank you.
I don't think you were on the last two.
There you see it. Hammers and Collins basically even. Van Sickle now on the short stack.
Yeah, and from an average big blind perspective, still pretty low.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost 12:40 local time here. We're still three-handed.
What would you guys say three-handed the blinds are normally at?
Well, the rule of thumb is around 28 average bigs when you're down inside this late into a final table.
Yeah.
So we're certainly short of that. If we lost one player, we would be right around a 30 big average, which is
Pretty standard.
is what you're looking for from a good structure.
Yeah. No, it's. But like you guys said, they took a while to get down to this final table, so that.
And to
It's
just,
kind of been a little bit behind the entire time. Haven't
Yeah.
quite gotten caught up.
to put it in perspective, too, when we were here in December, a similar field size, actually two more players, we finished in this very level. Level 32 with the blinds at 8160.
Ben Marsh, right?
Ben Marsh.
Was Ben
that's
Marsh
right.
here this
But,
weekend?
you know, I didn't see him, now that you say that.
What?
I didn't. see
There's a
him either.
chance that he was here, and I just...
I don't think so. I would have saw him because he's generally pretty friendly and says hi.
That's a good question. He became a two-time champion last December.
Yeah. And doesn't show up to defend his title?
I don't remember seeing him either.
Well, he just got banned from the MSPT. You can't do that.
Here, a little trivia for you, Keith.
Yeah.
How many players have won multiple MSPT titles? We've had 117 main events, only counting the main events.
4.
No, it's 9.
Wow.
Yeah.
9 multiple winners. And there's only one, though, that has won 3 titles.
Is that Carl?
Crazy Carl.
Crazy
Yeah,
Carl.
yeah.
2 of them which came here at Canterbury Park
Yep.
in
Yeah.
back-to-back. It was
Yeah,
amazing.
that's impressive.
Yeah, title defense.
See, that's why you got to defend your title. Where you
Yeah.
at, Marsh?
That's why I never miss.
Marsh is
Milwaukee.
Marsh is a good
that's
dude.
where you
I'm
won.
sure.
That's where you ran
yeah.
hot. And when you came back to defend your title, you did make the final table, didn't you?
Yeah, and I got 5th.
Yep.
So it was close.
4 raises.
A good showing.
100,000.
It'll be interesting to see what Hammers does. I've seen her a couple times in this tournament, like get a little aggressive with a hand like this, a 10-jack suited.
Yeah, I mean she's obviously seeing a flop. That's very, very good hand post flop, most times.
Well, Van Sickle has about a third of his chips in this pot
Yeah.
already, so. Any pairs here? Sherry's is going to check. I'd like to see him just ship it.
Yep.
4's all.
Yeah.
There it is. Yeah, and she's obviously not going to pay him off. So it worked out for him.
Good move there by Bob. Takes it down.
He just increased his stack.
And I can't blame Sherry there. She had a nice looking hand that you want to see a flop with. Just wafted it.
Just an absolute horrible flop for 10 jack of diamonds.
Wafted it. No, I wanted to say whiffed it, right?
Wafted it is also your option.
Okay. It's like when I'm writing about hands, I like to say bricked the river, or the river was a blank. You can, go either way.
What's your big blind? 100.
Fortunately for us here, the bar is open late, I think, at Canterbury Park. Is it 2 a.m.?
I think it's 2 a.m. bar time.
Dang it.
If it's the same as Wisconsin, it is.
We got to get moving here.
I was going to say, this has got to be over real quick if we're going to
Yeah.
be packed up. And
We still got an hour of teardown.
Something tells me these 3 players don't really care about that.
Yeah, I think they're the money is much more important, and the title is much more important than Chad and Brian getting a Kimosabi margarita.
7 raises.
Obviously,
And they would be correct.
475,475. 2 folds. 4 folds.
So earlier when we were down to like 2 tables, and we have our final table set up over here, kind of off to the side in this event center area, track level they call it. And but it is an area where a lot of the workers roll through that are, I don't know, whatever. A lot of the workers just kind of travel
Right.
through here. It's like a walking area sometimes. And we had the cash on the tray and the Kimosabi mezcal bottle standing there. And so I heard some kind of commotion, like off in the distance, you know. It was a ways from where our final two tables were. So I'm like, what's going on? That's kind of our stuff back there, right? So I walk back there, and there's these two ladies taking selfies with the bottle of mezcal and the cash.
That's awesome.
They're taking, and then they started taking pictures of each other, like with weird faces. I'm like, all right, whatever.
Fourfold.
Anyways, that
I
was,
think I'd have done the same thing if I was walking through it. I don't blame them at all. Well, we just had the classic Ace-King suited versus 7-2 suited. Somehow it didn't get to a flop. Ace-King obviously raised and take it.
Oh, yeah, you can't get it.
So Colin's building a wall around the table, paid for by all the other MSPT players.
There are plenty of my chips in that wall. Well, the blinds both have very playable hands for three-handed. Sevens and a king 10. We're gonna see something. Something's probably gonna happen here as far as he's raising.
I see Charles Workman breaking down the RFID deck of cards, but we do not have green and red decks. So Canterbury does. Their normal cards are green and red. Our RFID decks are not green
Two calls.
or red, and we don't alternate them. They're blue. So
Two players, heads up.
Wow.
Checks.
Collins obviously.
that's a tough spot for
Hammers better
Hammers.
hope a 7 doesn't peel off
Oh
here.
wow, yeah.
Well,
Two checks.
oh, she is playing it slow. Very nice.
Yeah, well, she's going to lose the minimum. Collins is just praying for some type of a raise with a flush.
That's a tough spot because her sevens could be good here a fair amount of the time. The flush could potentially hit there with the 5 of diamonds on the river. Can she fold this and save 500,000?
I think she's going to let it go.
It's not easy.
I think I
can,
pay it
I can
off
just-
and lose the chips, but I think Sherry's going to find
She
the
can
right
easily
button.
put him on a 10, which obviously she can't
Nah, he
beat.
checked the flop and the turn. I would probably pay him off here, but
Just that one.
I would personally probably lose the 500K.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's
But let's see what Sherry elects to do. I mean, Collins
Right?
flopped the world.
there's the plug.
That's right.
How does, I guess.
What?
Well, Collins trying to talk her into a call.
Anything he can do, he's pulling out all the stops.
Yeah, he's trying to talk her into a call there. And Sherry, oh, I thought she was gonna. So now he's
She's looking more like a fold.
Look, he's doing.
Oh wow!
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
she did it. Not a. It's a very, like you said, very standard call there. He just obviously had the world.
Yeah, she wanted to fold that there. The one thing that I noticed he did at the end that I've caught myself doing in the past, when I want a call, I take my cards and I pretend like I'm ready to muck them, like, oh,
Yeah.
you're never gonna call. Kind of like, it's kind of bullying them, like, oh, you'll never call, trying to get the end.
The
It
reverse
may have
psychology,
worked there, yeah. I saw him do that there at the end, and I don't know if that played a part in it whatsoever. Maybe it didn't.
Right.
But I can justify a call or not a call there. It's a tough spot.
Yeah, and his bet size at the end was obviously just the right size. If he goes a little bigger than that, she
Yeah,
could
made her
probably go.
think.
Now it's, oh wow, we have two pairs again, 3s versus 7s in the blinds. This could get interesting.
Chad, you ever played Pygo?
I have played it in the past, but it's been so long that I need a refresher.
So apparently, and I don't really play, I haven't ever really played Paigal before, but I understand they have a new Paigal game here where you can see all the cards and you can see like what the dealer has and everything. And so apparently it's a huge hit.
Wow.
Oh, Sherry just
That was really disciplined there. That's
gets rid of it.
instantly. That's a great fold. And she didn't raise pre-flop. She lost the minimum again.
Yeah, with a pocket pair, three-handed.
Well, we'll see if Collins goes back to the ways that he started this tournament off with applying a lot of pressure, which he should right now. This is a key spot whenever you're dealing with two shorter stacks, and who doesn't want to be the first one to leave? What's the pay jump? We got it goes from 45,000 up to
Just $17,000.
$62,000. Just 17. Don't you have that laying around somewhere?
Shoot. I cashed an MSPT event once for $15K.
Did you?
Yeah, back in season 4, I think, but long before I worked for the MSPT. But finished 5th in the MSPT in Wisconsin. Same event, Josh Reichard won.
He's won a tournament before?
He's an MSPT champ.
He's won any tournament. Is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
Maybe a couple here
I
and
mean,
there.
the kid just shows up and wins, and
Yeah, I was actually there when he just won his
9th circuit ring.
his ninth circuit. I
He's
was
one behind the all-time winner. We were just talking about this, me and Jamie Kerstetter. I would be, I would bet money that he'll have the lead by the end of the year.
It's not a bad bet.
You know, if I knew he's planning on playing his normal schedule or what have you, I think he's going to do it.
Well, there was a raise and a call with Ace 5 versus King 6, and Collins hits the 6.
Yeah, Hammer's not having a good run of it right now.
But she's made good folds. Yeah.
It's not a bad flop for her hand.
No. I mean, when you're down to three-handed, any ace starts looking good.
So Collins, yeah, she checks pretty quickly behind.
Picks up a few more outs.
Oh, Collins getting serious. He's got the shades back on.
That's what flop and King's Full do for you. Yeah.
And we are well over 120 hands here at this final table. 491 down to 3 here at Canterbury Park, MSPT 117. All three of these players guaranteed over 45,000. The next page up goes to almost 63,000 and then 102,000. Brian Molesky, Chad Holloway, WSOP bracelet winner Chad Holloway, and MSPT champ and runner-up at everything else, Keith Heine. And
I got it out of the way, though.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you guys, what's the biggest the blinds have been in one of these? I know you guys had a marathon heads up once, right?
I'll look into that one right now. I want to say 150, 300,000.
Wow.
I'm going to double check that. It was the first MSPT I ever live reported for MSPT blog.
Is that the heads-up battle between Rubenberg and
That's
It
the one I was.
was.
Yeah, I was thinking that's the one.
we mentioned that one often. It was a pretty epic heads-up battle.
500,000.
I don't think. I think that was before I came along in the MSPT world.
That one went pretty late.
That one made it to level 35, so yeah, the blinds were 150 and 300,000.
Wow.
How about
And I could be mistaken. I would have to check, but that might have been when the final table were our level still. So it went still went even longer.
Well, yeah, that does change things.
Chad, do me a favor. Check the summer Venetian event. See if you can see what level that one ended, because there's obviously well over 3,000 players. So that's an outlier, of course, but just curious.
Of course, that is a 3-day. You have to, because it goes so late, but we'll see. That goes to level 38 with the blinds at 300,000, 600,000.
Okay.
So
We're going to have, this is This is most likely a raise and an all-in and a call. Collins has the ace-king on the button.
And now
Sherry-
Collins up to $6 million. So Hammers, who was close to being our chip leader just a few minutes ago, may now be at risk, and I don't blame her at all if
No.
she
Yeah,
decides
she
to
hasn't-
shove here.
She hasn't made really any mistakes in the last 4 or 5 hands. Just
Two is all in.
bad luck
He's
being
gonna
out
snap call.
flopped.
Well, Van Sickle has to look at his 7-5 first. And he gets rid of it.
And there's the call.
And this would give,
We have ace
if
king,
Collins can hold here, he will have a dominant chip lead over Van Sickle
Yeah.
for the win.
And Hammers, let's see if she can find a queen or maybe some diamonds are a girl's best friend. Neither.
Not yet.
Not a whole lot there.
A jack would be a great card for her right
I
now.
was going to say a jack or a queen on the turn would keep her in the hunt. That's not it.
Yeah,
So
she's-
a queen and a queen only, but all three are live. A queen to stay alive. Otherwise, Collins will go heads up with a dominant chip lead. And that's
Yeah.
it. So just like that, Sherry Hammers, who made a great comeback
What a
at
run.
this final table, is going to leave in third place for $45,198. Congratulations to her. And unfortunately, she won't be our second female MSPT champion. But she will leave with a boatload of cash. So congratulations.
Yeah. And she plays
for-
a lot of these, so she just picked up 1,300 Player of the Year points, too.
Yeah, she
So-
plays in Minnesota when we're around. She doesn't travel outside.
I've
Maybe
seen her
a
in
little bit in
Tama.
Meskwaki. That's
Yeah,
true. Yeah,
Tama.
they come down there a fair amount.
And you know, another silver lining about this is by finishing third place, she ties her husband, Tom Hammer's best finish, which was third in Meskwaki back in season 7. However, the kicker of this is when Tom cashed, he did so for $36,000. Sherry just took home
a
$45,000.
little bigger field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I know what you're saying
She gets
there.
a little bragging rights.
She's got the bragging rights.
It's going to
yeah.
hold over Tom for a while now.
So Eric has brought out the cash and the trophy and the Kimosabi Mezcal, and we are going to go heads up here. Bob Van Sickle, Mark Collins,
Yep, Annie's are still 20,000.
the winner, will take home 102K and the trophy, of course, and
20,000 Annie.
the runner-up, still a pretty nice payday, just shy of 63K. Let's see what happens, gentlemen. Mark Collins out of Morrow, Illinois. His largest career score is 1,800, and he's looking to turn that into 102K, and he's got a wall
He's,
in front of him.
you know, hey, it's 7.9 to 1.6. He just needs to apply pressure and just kind of lean on him until he breaks.
And, of course, it helps if you can keep picking up better hands than your
That's
opponent.
always a good recipe.
Yep. So Bob in a tough spot here because you don't want to give a walk, but he is. And at this point in time, even a walk is giving your opponent, you know, almost 300,000.
Yeah.
280K. So that's an expensive walk.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not going to have a whole lot of time to sit around. Van Sickle's just going to have to pick a spot and hope he's maybe live and see what happens. But anything is possible heads up. We've seen it many times before.
So Bob, back in September, won the event number 1 in the Fall Poker Classic here at Canterbury, so he knows how to close out a tournament.
Yeah, Bob
here.
is consistently, Van Sickle that is consistently among, in the MN Poker Mag Minnesota Player of the Year. Van Sickle is pretty regularly in the hunt for that year after year. He cashes a lot here locally.
He's not a rookie to a final table.
Nope. No, he's a good player, and he showed that here today. He's not out of this. He certainly has to take down some of that wall, and he's not getting the cards so far
Yeah.
heads up to do it, but he's certainly capable of coming back in this event.
It's going to be tough if he keeps getting hands like 9-3. He doesn't have as much time as he would like, obviously. 12 minutes to go in this, and then it goes up to, what does it go up to, 1 and 2? 100, 200,000,
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
So Bob getting down into the danger zone, but he's okay yet. These Canterbury events, when Carl's not running the show, tend to go a little bit longer.
Again, he's He's up against a better hand. I wouldn't be surprised if Queen 6 suited gets in there.
Oh, Mike Schneider with the pro tip says orders have to be placed before 1:45 a.m. at the bar. It's silly, but that's how it is here. So that's referring to ordering our Kimosabi Mezcal. No problem. That's actually good information to know. We'll make sure we
good to know.
Well, I guess it depends unless these guys go on an epic heads-up battle.
So it's been raised by Collins with the King Jack up to 500,000. It's 340 to call for Van Sickle. He knows he can't just call. It's either fold or all in, and he lets it go.
Round 32. Collins, who has looked the part the entire final table, has played well. And Van Sickle, who has controlled a fair amount of the second half of this final table, has also played well. And either player is certainly deserving of winning this title. And can Van Sickle come back? They're both going to need thicker wallets after this event. They're going to need the Costanza wallet to fit all this cash in there.
Here we go, boys.
This is his opportunity.
This could be a big double up for Van Sickle.
It's getting in there. We just need to know how long it's going to take.
Especially considering the positions, because Collins is going to raise and Van Sickle's going to jam with that 1.1 stack with ace queen.
Ace 6, diamonds will instant.
And Collins will probably beat him in the pot when he says all in.
All in. Seat.
Yeah, there you go.
All in. Seat 7 calls.
Ace 6 diamonds, ace.
Collins is a little shocked to see that good of a hand.
If Collins can get lucky, though, he is going to win this title. Otherwise, Van Sickle going to get right back in it.
Wow.
Ooh.
That's a tough flop for Van Sickle.
One card away for Collins. Just got to dodge a queen on the river.
4 on the turn. And our cash game Canterbury dealers, we had to slow them down a little bit to get to the river. And
That'll do it.
It is not there.
That'll do it.
Wow.
So Mark Collins, who did play fantastic at this final table, everything that we saw, a very deserving winner. And he's going to take home the title and $102,076. Congratulations to him. Congratulations to Bob Van Sickle. Also a well-played final table. He's going to take home just shy of $63K. Huge thank you to Canterbury Park for putting on the 15th ever MSPT main event. Once again, we'll be back here in October. Make sure you get out to msptpoker.com. Thank you to our sponsors, Kimosabi Mezcal, and of course our partners, Chip Leader Coaching, Jonathan Little, Flop the World, all sorts, right?
All
and am I missing any? I don't know. Probably. I apologize, but we're going to go out and take some photos of our winner. And thanks for tuning in. Another great champion.